Soundstripe. Welcome to South End supporters of St. Louis City SC podcast, powered by Ready to Live Wellness and coming at you from the Warrior Logo Wear studio. Eric Cole alongside the Monday morning center back Dave Wyckoff, as our buddy DH David Heck is out tonight on softball dad duty. So we're going to carry this on as we are going to cover quite a bit tonight. So we're going to try and funnel it all into one episode with a midweek game, schedule congestion with us going on. We'll try to get it all in at once. Dave, how we doing tonight?
Well, it's Groundhog Day again, and here we are again talking about a team that again gave us some glimmers of hope and played half a decent game and again made the same silly ass mistakes and once again failed to bring home 3 points. So that about sums it up. So let's have lunch.
It's interesting you said that because like going in and rewatching the game tonight, I kind of felt the same way. I was just like, man, it just feels like each week we're kind of, really saying the same thing. And the thing I picked up on what you just said there was like half a game. Watching it back and even kind of feeling in stadium that night, I feel like the first half really wasn't too bad by City. And one of the things that I noted most as far as the reason for that being not too bad is I really thought the difference in the two halves was the containment of Lozano and Dryers in that first half. I felt like it almost seemed like at times like Baumgartel was like he was going super high to kind of press on either of those two guys, both, kind of outer backs, even Hebert pushing a little bit high. So my thought process was like maybe they're almost like in a man marking system or just making sure they keep track of those two. And it really seemed to work throughout that first half. And you didn't really feel too overly like pressured by San Diego. I thought, it looked pretty even throughout that first half, even stats wise. I don't think it was too off as far as possession or anything crazy like that. So what are you thinking? Are you feeling the same way to where it was like almost a tale of two halves? It definitely felt like in that second half, especially Chucky Lozano was finding a lot more space, getting a lot more involved, able to be a little bit more creative. Were you picking up on that as well? Like, what did you notice just stark-wise, the difference in the two halves?
So break it down in just the first half by itself. They found a way to generate some pressure against San Diego and made them really uncomfortable playing out of the back. I would say for, what do you think, the first 20, 25? City really...
So that's what I noted down was the first 20.
Yeah,
like,
City really
the press was high.
Controlled the tempo of that game. And let's at first, before we tear them to shreds, give the defense some credit because they did close down a lot because the gap to beat the press is in between the midfields and the backs. And you did find Hebert and Baumgartel and Yarrow sometimes coming way up the pitch and getting stretched out of their shape. I made the comment to Zoe, my daughter, several times that, yeah, they're doing great right now, but San Diego's testing them and seeing where they can stretch their shape. And then about that 25 mark, San Diego started to easily break through the press, and City started to back down off the press and play more of a contained defense, even to the point where they weren't pressuring the ball, and then they really started to open them up a little bit with just little passes down the middle. I mean, you could tell San Diego. You could tell San Diego was just looking for the opportunity to go right up the middle because it was there. It was there all night. But no, I think if you look, I mean, say what you want about Foot Mob and their metrics, but if you look at the Foot Mob metrics, particularly for the first half, they have this really interesting momentum metric where it kind of peaks, based on which team controlled the momentum of the game. And the first half was very even. I think percentage was like 55-45, and City were the only ones that were really creating any legitimate chances. Klaus had a look that got blocked. Akil Watts had the best chance of the first half. The goalie made a good save, although it was on a bad angle. So I really thought that they were the better team in the first half. Now, still way too many just non-pressured giveaways. I made the comment yesterday. I was talking with one of my we were at another game, and I was talking to one of my daughter's teammates, parents, and I counted, I think, half a dozen times in the first half where Kyle Hebert picked the ball up and he never even turned his shoulders to face up the field. No matter what pressure was there or lack of pressure, it was immediate touch and back to Yarrow or touch and back to the keeper without pressure. And the midfielders were working hard. I noted that when Ostrak is in the midfield, he works hard off the ball, much harder than Leuven, harder than Morales. Hartle actually worked pretty hard off the ball Saturday as well. But after a while, if you're not giving them the ball, then there's no point in them making those runs. So I liked that from the midfield. I thought I thought the strikers were stagnant. Once again, I thought it was a big mistake not to play with more of your pace and put Celio in there. And but it is what it is at this point. But yeah, first half there was definitely optimism. I would say so.
I agree with that. That's what I noted as well. It was about 20 minutes where the press started to seem to fade, and I'm curious to know, like, is that more fatigue? Is that strategy? Like, what is their reasoning for backing off that? Because to your point, it was working. They were putting San Diego under pressure. It was causing a lot of defensive mistakes. It was causing a lot of corner kicks. Like we were pretty. I think we had like 3 or 4 within that really early in the half. And on top of corner kicks, man, like like the Hartle, like he's accurate, but it's so floated every
Our
time.
set
Like there's
pieces are
just no
terrible. Our set pieces are
there's no
terrible right
chance.
now, Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know where it did? He played one ball with pace and just threw it in there. And you know which one that was? The goal that happened late in. Like I don't know
Yeah.
why he isn't whipping that ball in there like that every time. Like even if it's to accurate, I can't think of like any corner kick that we had on the night that found a City head. And the reason I think it is, it's just so floated in there that like it gives the defense so much time to set up, body out, and clear the ball out. Let's say City does get on it. Floated balls like that, you're getting nothing
Yeah.
behind it. You're not getting anything on frame with any sort of pace. I just wish he would hum one in there. And like I said, he does one time, we get a goal off it. Um, yeah, I agree with you. Ostrak, like every time you see him, his first turn to run is almost a dead sprint. Like he's doing suicide sprints. Like when he goes to turn, it is like to get there with pace. And I did notice, like, while it was exciting seeing him and Wallum in there. Neither one of those two really played the like just holding role. And that's where I think, to your point, they were starting to find that space within the middle of the field, is because they were both, while I did like both of them on the ball and creativity wise, I just think as far as the whole shape of the team, that's where it went to go. And once again, I think agreeing with you on the time frame, it felt like about that 20-minute mark, not only the press start to break down, but shape and formation and all that started to kind of go out the window as well. It just, you're looking at it and you're kind of going, I don't know what we're running. I don't know what our pace is. But to your point, also, I don't know when or what it's going to take for Hebert to start feeling comfortable that when he receives the ball to just give it a look, give it a look upfield. There's a lot of times that I feel like we could really spring and just give the defense a little bit of release of pressure by him just turning and looking to go up the field at times. It's just like you said, constantly just a square ball or straight back, and without even a glance of looking what's possibly up the field. And that's why you're seeing nothing really flow up the right-hand side, and which is why a lot of times you're seeing it's tough for Teutsch to get involved in the play, is because he's just like, finding no space or no real like reason to make those runs because he knows where it's going every time. I just think it's just the same thing every time. And especially when you're seeing, similar style go out the window, it's like you see that first 20 minutes, it's like, hey, we're putting them under pressure. We're the ones going for it and then it's just the same. Let's fall back, square passes. The other thing is, man, there were so many times throughout the night, whether it was Hartle, Horn did a couple times where just through balls that they were looking to just weren't, it was just straight back to the defense. Like it was just it, and then they'd both look at each other like, you were supposed to make that. Well, that was a bad, it's just like we're still having trouble being on the same page with each other. And it's like, man, it's just a worrying issue that it just feels like, again, coming out of this game, and I think both goals would speak to that, but it was just we got beat on our own mistakes again. I don't feel like necessarily stats wise or anything else coming out of that night feeling like, man, San Diego really outplayed us like they have done to so many teams this year. But I felt like we left a couple goals on the table. I felt like the goals we gave up were off mistakes, and we kind of beat ourselves again. And to beat ourselves at home is just that much more frustrating.
Yeah, that's a sign of a bad team when you're losing that way. I mean, let's call it what it is. It's a bad team because you can play well, but you're still making the same stupid mistakes and the same turnovers and the same missed assignments. That's a bad team, and it starts with lack of discipline on the practice ground, and that's a lack of accountability from coaching. Yeah, it's just it's not acceptable anymore. And you pointed out like there's a lot of like finger pointing and not being on the same page. And at this point in the season, not being on the same page is not it's not professional. That's the one thing that I kept coming back to during the game is how these guys are supposed to be professional athletes, professional soccer players, yet we can't settle balls in the air when there's no one around us. Like just and I chalk this up. This is I don't want to pick on him because it's his first game back or whatever, but like Jay Reed gets in the game and he's so amped up and out of control that he dribbles the
Exactly
ball
what you're
out of
talking about.
bounds
Yeah.
with nobody within 15 yards of him. Like I think that's just kind of like a microcosm. You know, it almost looks like they are trying to play the Cornell style of get the ball forward as quickly as possible, but with only half the team. Because when they try to break out, they don't break out in fours, fives, sixes. They break out in twos and threes. And like you were pointing to, the passes aren't there, but they feel like they have to force them because some of these guys want to play direct and they don't want to always play backwards. It's just so frustrating because I totally agree with you. I don't think that San Diego outplayed them by any means. Like there was a stretch at the end where, you know, they hit the crossbar and they had that flurry there. But, you know, I would say that City had just as much control in that game as San Diego did, which makes it all the more frustrating. I hate the substitution tactics once again. I hate waiting until 70, 75. I hate putting a pacey wing midfielder in the central midfielder because you don't have any other answers and he's out of position. I don't understand it. There was a point, and I don't know if you picked up on this. And again, this is kind of like a microcosm of the issues with this team. There was a point around 60, 65 when you saw Zonde go to start putting his stuff on, which, by the way, the dude took 15 minutes to put his gear on. And I don't know if that was by design because they didn't want to put him in until 75, but he walked to the bench at 60, and it took him 15 minutes before he came in the game. He goes over with Celio, and Celio gets sent back. And that was
I saw
when
that.
and then Jay Reed came over, and then Betcher came over. And Celio just kind of gesticulating like, you know, nobody knows what's going on, and we're not close enough to the field communication, so we don't know what happened. But, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. But again, yeah, waiting too long to. I mean, tell me at this point how much it makes sense to continue to wait until you're down a goal because you're playing with such a conservative lineup. What is the difference between going with your paciest, most talented, best 11, and then subbing them off at 60 or 65 when you have a chance to score a goal, as opposed to leaving these City 2 jabronis out there, and I'm being very generous with some of the talent, with some of the play that's gone on the field, leaving them out there, and all of a sudden you're down a goal, and now you have to make substitutions, and you've got people on yellows. Like at this point, like, am I nuts? Am I absolutely insane? Like, dude, my level of coaching will never be at the MLS like pedigree, but I see what I see, and
Yeah.
what I see is it looks like there's no plan B. There's only a plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, you just start throwing crap at the wall and see what works.
No, yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, going back to just a couple things that you brought up. Yeah, I noted as well that Jay Reed. I don't know if it's just excitement getting back into the field, but it wasn't just Jay Reed. There were a few times I noticed like Hartle, Horn, Teutschert, just a few guys. What are we still doing the back heel passes for? What are we still doing and none of them. I think there was one. Maybe Horn did a little back heel and found a Hartle or Teutschert, but like again, I want you to play free and I want you to play, comfortably. But at what point do you notice, like, hey, we've given up like 5 turnovers off back heel passes? Let's just try and, keep it simple. Keep it simple because we've seen that work throughout the years. Like, and again, that goes down to discipline that you brought up a couple episodes ago, as well as like coaching. Like, why is the coaching not getting on that? You brought up as well. You didn't feel like, FOTMob stats had us with a higher XG, more shots on goal, and more total shots and more total shots on target. So, just backing up the point, like I don't feel like San Diego outplayed us that night. I feel like it was the mistakes that led us to that type of stuff. And then, I brought it up a couple episodes ago, just seeming like Hartle and Leuven, when that substitution was made, they just kind of both looked like we don't know what's going on. I noticed the same thing you did, and I was excited because it was like, okay, finally we're making substitutions a little early, giving these times to come into the play, and it was two of the guys that we've been wanting to see just flood the wings with pace and, creativity and all that type of stuff, Celio and Zonde. And then, yeah, you're right. It's like going over tactics is like, man, how many tactics do you have to go over just to get him on the field? Like, and then you're putting him in a different position that he, wasn't scouted for and hasn't been playing. He's playing more central. Like, I understand, like, it was fatigue issue from what I heard as far as like, I think it was Ostrak is who he replaced, but like, how can you not find a different way to just adjust to still put him in his best position? Because there were times, yeah, when he was on the ball, he looked free and he looked like he would have pace, but he didn't have
he wasn't in the width,
field.
he wasn't in space.
He didn't have that open
Yeah.
field to be. Exactly, you're right. And then, waiting till like the 83rd or 84th minute or whatever it was to bring Celio on, like what are you doing, man? Like at that point, like you said, it's just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. And the problem is though, is when he's making these late game substitutions, you're noticing a difference. And I just always keep going back and thinking like, man, if he would have had more time on the field. Like Celio's first run, he breaks out, gets line, wins a corner. It's like, man, you could have gave him 20, 30 minutes of that.
Bring him in at 60.
Too is,
there's no point.
Not to overthink it as well, but like the pop that Celio gets when he subs on, the fans want to see it. Like at some point, you got to also play into the home field. Like get him out there.
That's a great.
Get him being
that's a great
free.
observation. That's a great. That's a fantastic because there wasn't a lot to cheer for. I mean, to go nuts for up to that point in the game. Yeah, you could really swing the momentum your way in a 0-0 game by bringing on a ton of pace and a ton of enthusiasm.
David brought it up last episode where he's like, well, how much of a difference does home field and away field make? That's the type of stuff we're talking about. Yeah. And it's not just Celio coming in and feeling like, hey, man, they love me. It's other players, too, feeding off of that energy. Yeah. Like, that's what you want to utilize. And it just sucks that you're sitting there going, like, thinking, like, man, if we would have played him out on the wing, Zonde, and gotten him a little bit more pace. Because there were a few opportunities that I did see, but you could tell he just is like, I'm used to being out here and not centrally to where I have to worry about kind of both sides of the deal. But then also thinking like, man, Celio coming in, boy, if he would have had a few more minutes. And I just am still confused as to what it was. Like we said, we know that one back pass that gave up the goal against LAFC, but like, I mean, you can't really hold that against these guys. Like
he's not turning the ball over any less than anybody else on the field. That's the problem, you know.
You're exactly right. And so, to your point, like why not just play that most like dangerous, like kind of like we've highlighted with the past couple games where it's been like LAFCs and the Vancouvers, where it's like why can't we put out a lineup that makes another team scared of like look at all this pace that we're going to have to deal with, and then you can make those adjustments here or there, especially at home, like. It just is getting frustrating to where it seems like the most passion or the most like whatever you want to say about Olaf is just when it comes to arguing with the refs. Like it's just like, you know, and even the time that he picked up the yellow, I remember just thinking like, I don't even know what he's on about. Like that made him so frustrated at that point. But it's a worry to see that there's also just like a confusion is like, here comes Celio, and you hear it all along that west end. When, you know, any of those players are running down, you start to feel a level, like, rise. I remember it was last year, I believe, when Klaus was out for a long period of time in that first game back, just when he made that run down, everybody in the stadium knew something was happening because you just felt the energy levels rise. Like you can't wait till the 83rd minute to try and capture that energy, and you especially can't wait for it when you're already down, like a bunch of like you said, like why not encapsulate that energy straight from the get go? Put these other teams under pressure. I know San Diego's doing great right now, but they're also still an expansion team, and we got to see how they can handle like that type of stuff. And I don't know. It's just getting frustrating. It's the same old thing where the other thing I'm noticing as well, and it's still the same old thing, is like Teutschert, I think he had a couple. I think maybe Klaus had a couple as well. Like there's so many opportunities where if these guys just take a touch and hit, they're more open, but they'll always keep taking this extra touch that takes them away from goal farther. And then it's like, well, now you're like, Teutschert did it, I think, twice. Klaus did it a couple times to where it's like, at what point are we just going to think like, if I'm Olaf, I'm just going out there. And then the more frustrating part is you see it in the Open Cup. Teutschert on the break, plays it to Klaus. Klaus takes one touch and hits. And Omaha's keeper all night was keeping them in that game, even though it should have been well within control before the more subs were made. But like he's on, it's not like a goalkeeper issue. It was just Klaus gets the ball, doesn't overthink it, takes a touch and hits. Like there's too many times where we're down in that final third, and rather than just finally letting them go, which we've seen work on the year, and it's the same with Hartle on the free kick. Like you zim it in there one time, we get it's a great ball, and it leads to a goal. Like at what point are we going to look at these things that are working and think, hey, maybe we should keep trying that?
Yeah,
like it's working.
It's almost like, and I've thought about this all season. The decision making is just really poor. Like the in-game intelligence is really poor from pretty much everybody. Like it's almost like I make it happen in my mind before it happens. Like what's the worst possible thing they could do right here, and then they do it, and I'm not surprised by it anymore. There was I think it was Teutschert. One of the shots that he missed wide, he was open 20 yards out, and he took an extra touch to his right, and he just sailed it. Like, not even close. Like, you guys have got to put the ball in frame there. Like, you're professionals. I think Cello did it too. The decision making is just really poor sometimes. Like, I know exactly what it was. I'm sorry. Early on in the game, Cello's got the ball, picks the ball up from Wallem, I think, on the left, is cutting across the front of the box at a 45, and rather than take it on himself, he lays a square ball off to Watts. Now, Akil Watts is a professional soccer player, but he is the last person, right before Kyle Hebert, he's the last person I want to give the ball to have one touch and then a shot on that field at any given time. And that's what I was telling Zoe. I go, you sometimes, as an offensive player, you have to be a little selfish and think about, okay, do I have a better shot to put this in the net, or does Watts have a better shot to put this in the net? And the answer was Cello's got the better chance. Now, he probably makes the smart team play, whatever lays it off. But Watts, listen, I'll say this about Watts and Yarrow, and I know we've got a bunch of people that are like apologists for these nice guys, and they're like super nice humanitarians, real fun with the kids. Neither of them belong in the starting lineup, and I'm tired of us acting like they do for any team. They wouldn't start, maybe for Montreal. They wouldn't start for very many teams, and I know they're being forced into a situation right now where we have to start them, but that doesn't mean that they get a pass. Like, Akil Watts has such a lack of offensive awareness. It's so frustrating for me to watch a guy with that much speed, and we've seen him hit the ball hard, and we've seen him push forward, and it's almost like he's still playing like a City 2 player, like he's tentative and unsure of himself. And if that's the case, get him off the field. That's what it goes back to what you were talking about. Like, when are we going to play our most dangerous 11 and stop worrying about our most trustworthy or our hardest workers in practice or whatever the hell you want to talk? It's just, it comes down to the decision making in all aspects of everything is so questionable to me, and no one has earned the benefit of the doubt. This entire group, the first half of the first season, there's a couple guys left over that had good first half of the first season. Okay, last year is what it was. You had the second half where it was better after you brought in the signings. Okay, Everyone on this team has been part of the same piss poor losing culture and attitude now for the better part of a calendar year. So they have no more benefit of the doubt to me. Lutz, Olaf, Klaus, Teutsch, Cello, whoever. They need to be held more accountable. And I can sit here and say that I see silver linings in some of their play and still be pissed off that they're still not producing results. And that's where I'm at. And it starts with making better decisions. And like you said, play simple, play smart, play simple. And we're
Play
just so
simple.
far beyond that right now. I don't understand what I'm watching from the very beginning, from the time the lineup comes out to the the inconsistent approach and tactics and lineup and then the adjustments or lack of at halftime and the play on the field. I don't understand what I'm watching.
Well, I think the issue, yeah, play simple for sure. I'm sick of the backheel passes that are giving up possession and cause, especially against a team that their strength is on the counter attack. Like you can't be giving up those simple backheel fancy stuff on the break. The other thing too is like past like what three teams that we've scouted, there's always been like one or two players that we would say like you can't give them any space within 25 because they're going to look to hit it. We don't have any of those players. To your point, like it's just I feel like we're just the easiest team to probably scout as far as, shutting them down offensively because I just think it's like, hey, as long as you get somebody in front of them, they're going to look for that next pass. Like we don't have anybody that just the only person I can think that's close to that is Celio because you don't know if he's going to dribble you line, if he's going to cut back in, but he's not even getting game time. And if he does, it's at the late minute. And then when he does get in, look what works is that first run that he makes. It's a couple cutbacks, and the defender doesn't know, is he cutting in? Is he going line? And then, I know it doesn't amount to anything but a corner, but like those will eventually add up and stuff. Like that uncertainty of what's this guy going to do, I think is going to be what makes these guys or makes an offensive weapon so dangerous. I mean, we've highlighted him so many times, Denny Bouanga. We've said it so many times, like, you don't know where he's going to shoot from. He'll shoot, like the second you give him a sliver of space, he's going to shoot. Whereas these guys, they're getting a sliver of space, but they're still taking that extra touch. Like it's just like they always want a little more, and it's just like, man, let them fly sometimes. Because also, it seems like our touch isn't great right now. So it seems like every time they do take that effort, extra touch, it's like, well, now it's going to take something absolutely stellar for you to score from there. Whereas at least here, if you get it on frame, goalie could spill it. We could have a follow up. There's just a lot more opportunities coming for a goal than what we're seeing right now, and I think that's just the frustrating part as well of a bunch of other things is just it's just like you said, Groundhog Day. And it's the same with like anytime we're in possession or offensively going, it's just like, I mean, I feel like we could defend him because it's just like, oh, I just got to get in front of him. If I can keep him in front of me with the ball, it's going to be another square ball or it's going to be a trail pass. Like it's just, I think the other closest person that can be uncertain is Ostrak, but typically when he's finding it, he's so, far back in because I feel like he's always looking to turn, go forward with pace and everything like that. But when you're in your own half receiving the ball, there's only so much really that you can catch them off guard before they kind of, shell back up. But it's, I know we're dealing with a lot of injuries, but to keep seeing goals like that, what was it, the second one that they received with the Yarrow touch. I mean, if you took a still frame when that ball was in the air coming down to Yarrow, nobody was within him for 20, 30 yards. Like there's no reason that even, I mean, that was about as bad of a touch you could take because it literally went into the path of their only player that I believe was in our half. But like, it was like the couple weeks ago where it's like that touch that, what are you outside in the footing for? Like, we're making it so much harder on ourselves. And even
Yeah.
that second goal, I'm looking at Yarrow. I just wish, if anything, I would like to see, if anything, a switch between Baumgartel and Hartle. Baumgartel and Yarrow. Like, I'd rather Baumgartel be that center position back to where if there's a mistake, there's maybe a little bit more of a chance. Yarrow and Hebert just keep making a little bit of these mistakes. And if they're the last guy back, you're leading into a break. I feel like Baumgartel, while he still makes a bunch of, there was one pass where he's out on the wing and he passed it back directly to their player on a break. And he was but it was like that was his one of the night. Whereas it just feels like Yarrow, and even on their first goal, he's allowing so much space there that they could just easily turn, and then you're behind the, like a offensive player, like as long as you could stay with them and not allow them to get that first step on you, you have a good chance of keeping them in front of you.
Yeah.
But if they do get that first step on you, it either requires a foul or they're getting shot off. And he gets a shot off. It's placed well. Lunt can't make the save. That we're down 1-0. Then the second goal, it's just like you got to be kidding me type of goal. Like it's just these mistakes. I mean, it's just these same, like you said, it's like MLS Next Pro. And I want to get this out there too. Like, while we're critiquing the play, we are not critiquing the players,
the person.
Like we all love, I've heard nothing but great things about all the guys on the team. I can't think of it. That's one thing I love about this team so much is there isn't anybody that I've ever heard like a really, don't meet your heroes type of player on the team. Great personalities and everything, but there are mistakes being made on the field. And the thing is I feel like you can kind of make an excuse for a mistake here and there, but when it's consistent mistakes over time, you gotta start making some changes, and I think where
there's
really starting to see is
the accountability is so inconsistent. Like we're punishing somebody like Celio for his mistakes or whatever, but we never, like Josh Yarrow and Kyle Hebert are above reproach when they consistently make mistakes. I mean, you could say what you want. Oh, we're short at the back. Call up Vincel. Drop Horn back there. Mm-hmm. It's why are we not foster? It's not there's no real competition for positions right now because you can pencil in pretty much the same 5 guys in defense now every week. I just don't understand it. I don't understand why after this long we're still playing so conservatively that. And conservative with people that frankly haven't earned it. I mean, what has Akil Watts shown you in defense or offense to where he should be your right winger every game? Like Xande Silva's been here for 3 weeks now. Why in the hell isn't he not playing right wing? Why is Wallum not playing left wing? Why is Horn not dropping to that left center back so Timo can slide over to the central center back and then take your pick between Hebert and Yarrow with right back or whatever? Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. Some of these things just don't track for me logically, and they shouldn't track for a lot of people logically. Like we called for Klaus to get continued opportunity. He hasn't done anything in a while. Let's see what Betcher can do to start. Let's have Betcher and Celio start instead of Teutert and Klaus. It's just to keep just running the same group out here over and over again, and nothing changes. Like it's like you talk about fan apathy, man. Like it's going to set in hard. Like, and people are going to start losing jobs, and people are going to start asking out of the team. And I think I saw that Carolyn Kendall made a comment. Maybe it was this weekend that we have to make the playoffs this year. Well, unless you're ready to open up the pocketbook, or unless you're thinking about making another coaching change like soon, it's not going to happen. It's just you're creating too much of a gap. Like there's only so many games. I mean, we're a third of the way through the season now, man. Like, let's be realistic.
And the gap's going to keep growing. The gap's going to keep growing. I think at some point you've just got to put out your best starting 11, not your best formation 11. I think at some point you got to put the players out there, and we've said it for weeks now on this show. Like, I feel like it's just better to adjust mid-game defensively than it is offensively. And when you're throwing, one of your most surprising, dangerous attacking players on at the 83rd minute, you're just setting yourself up for.
Yeah. You called up Mekhi Joyner. You called up Mekhi Joyner, and he didn't even get a look. It's maddening. Yeah. Is what it is. Maddening.
It's. I was looking it up again today because it just, for some reason, seems to keep popping up. The definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And it's just like,
and here we are again talking about a game against a pretty damn good team where the points were there, man. The points were there. The points were there against Columbus. They were there against LAFC. They're there against San Diego. Who did you say?
Vancouver.
The points were there against Vancouver, and you're not taking them. Like there were 12 points to be had out of those 4 games, and you played scared, and instead you got 2 out of those 4 games against 4 of the better teams in the league. If you're
I'd
too
rather.
scared, if you're more worried about protecting your job than actually going out and getting results, then hit the road, man. Like, go back to Sweden. I hate to
Go
be that
out.
guy that's Olaf out, but like, there's no time for this crap. There's no time.
Or go out and just go out in a blaze of glory. The last
Yeah,
thing you want to do is go out in a parked bus burning down on the side of the road. Like I'd rather you. I mean, throw them all out there. Just put who's healthy right now. Baumgartel, and yeah, take your pick on Yar or Hebert. Put them out there. Everybody else, I want to see looking to go forward. Let it be the other team's job to deal
yeah.
with
Make them
whatever we
stop
throw
you
out
for
there.
once. Make them be scared of you for once.
Make them look at us and like we don't know what's coming our way. But it's like I said, we've got to be the most easy team to scout in the league, and they have to know like, look, if we get up first, we'll be all right, and let's just get that first goal, and then we can.
You know what
And
the
then
one
you
thing
brought it up a good point is they have to be sitting back the first 20 minutes and just be like, let's just see what they got, and we can easily adjust to them. They can't easily adjust to us, and that's what's being shown right
You
now.
know, one thing that we I don't know that we've talked about a lot on this show that you know you say what you want about the Carnell firing or whatever, and it had to be done, what have you. The biggest thing that I think they miss out of that is not necessarily the press because they proved last week they can press. It's the physicality. It's the intimidation factor.
Yes,
You remember talking about
yes,
some of those
yes.
games with Carnell, especially in the first year and then last year before he got sacked, like 15, 16 fouls a game by City because they were going in hard in that press. They were going in hard and they were going in for blood and there were a lot of yellow cards and it was a lot of physicality. But you had that identity, like a team knew even if they could move the ball around on you and work the press, they were going to pay for it physically. There were going to be some boots get stepped on and there were going to be some ugly fouls and there were going to be some yellows and some pushing and shoving. There's none of that now. Even when you
That's
press, it's a very soft like, okay, get to them. But very rarely do you see somebody just. There's no purpose fouls, man. Like I'm not saying go
yeah.
out there
That's
and
a
be dirty, but there's a physical factor here that you're missing out on big time. Like you got to get in the back of their head. They don't. I think that you just teams are so relaxed now when they play City offensively and defensively.
No, that's a great observation. You're exactly right. Those first 2 years, even a little bit with Hack, you felt like you always just knew like, oh, they've got that one, what do they call them, goons on the team, like they call them
Mm-hmm.
goons in hockey. That like, but we've said it all along. Like one thing that we loved about City, not only were they exciting offensively, but boy, like they let every team know early, like we're gonna be there. Every touch
Especially at
and
home. Especially at
especially
home.
at home, especially at home, and that's why we're so great at home is like you let them know early, you let them know every touch that you make, I'm going to be right here, and there's a good chance you're going to get some studs. And you know we notice it just in the years that I've played and even indoor, like if there's one guy out there that is just like, it seems like every adult team has one like that's just a wild card that like he's more coming in for the physicality than he is necessarily with his skills. Anytime he's on the field, you start thinking like, boy, I got to get this touch off quick because he's going to like let me know. Like you're right. There's a little bit more of a like comfort that you feel within City Park right now that wasn't there the past couple years. And I don't know if it's the missing of Durkin, who Durkin used to put those in type of challenges in a little bit.
Yeah.
Kessler, he was a good one for like letting people know early. But yeah, you're right. The physicality just seems to have gone down. We said it like when the show first started. Like I always would rather like us be the team that's like out physically dominating a team than us physically get dominated. And especially I'd rather that than us physically get dominated and then also be giving up wins and losses.
Yeah.
Like you're right, especially at home. That's where, if you come in there and the crowd's going to get behind it, the crowd's going to, get on your
Yeah,
side.
it
It's
helps
not like you're
create a hostile
away.
environment, man. It really does.
Yeah.
Because the crowds, the one thing about the City crowd is they are diehard against the referee anytime they blow the whistle against City, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. It's boo and ref you suck. And that creates a hostile environment because then it's the stadium against the refs and the opponent. And
As
yeah, man,
well
I
as if
missed that.
there's anybody who stays on the ground for longer than 5 seconds, they're also going to let them know like you're over embellishing, and they're
Yeah,
going to be on them the rest of the night. But
I really enjoyed the crowd giving it to Chucky Lozano. I didn't realize I disliked him as much as I do, but he's an ass.
dude,
He really is.
he was the where I knew it straight from the get go. It wasn't long into the game. I think like 5-10 minutes, but that push on Lunt, like
Yeah,
on a just
yeah. He didn't
an
get a yellow
easy
for that.
an easy collected ball, and then
Yeah,
the extended arms. And that drove me nuts. There were a couple things. Bumgartle one time, I forget who it was, but it was a play on like on the side of the field where the players' benches are. Takes out Bumgartle and then like stares him down, and Bumgartle's looking at him like, I didn't ask for a foul. Like it's a throw in. Like what are you in my
yeah,
face? And even the ref comes over and is like, hey, like what do you? That should be us. That should be us on the other end where the ref's coming over and being like,
yeah.
hey, chill out. Like we're 5 minutes in. But yeah, I was with you, and the people who were sitting next to me, they had City shirts on, but they were big Chucky Lozano fans all night, and so that was just anytime he got near the ball, touched the ball, they were excited. So that was
Yeah,
not.
he's pretty typical El Tree over the last 15 years.
Yes, he fits that
Cabroncito,
mold. Yes,
Cabroncito.
he fits that mold
Yeah, for
very
sure.
well.
And the one last thing I'll say to put a bow in this whole conversation, maybe this whole game, is I feel personally attacked that you would bring up somebody who would use their physicality over their skills on Thursday nights, and I'll just leave it at that. I feel personally attacked by you saying that.
I feel the opposite about you, if anything. I feel like your skills are. I was expecting, if anything, your physicality to be more there. If anything, you surprise me every time I see you with your skills on the ball.
I've
Like
gotten
there's always times where the biggest thing that always is that I love playing with you is it's your precise touch on your long through balls that I like when you kick it, I'm always just kind of like, what are you doing? And then it just perfectly lands in the flow of somebody's run, and I'm like, that's a fantastic ball, Dave. Like good on you.
it's good
Like
to
you
know
just
that
have to.
you're second guessing me as soon as I play the ball.
I'm in an over 30 league. Any ball that's over 10 yards, I'm second guessing it.
That's
Like, what are we
funny
doing,
shit.
guys? Like, why is somebody running? But no, if anything, I'd say you're
No,
on the
it's
opposite end of
it's
my spectrum
I
of
get
skill.
profiled because I'm bigger, because I'm wider than everyone, and they fall down. Oh no, it's a foul. Oh, he's trying to start fights. Oh, he's out of
No, I
control.
won't. I won't say you don't lay it in there, but
Yeah.
I would
Oh
say
yeah. You got listen.
my
It's
first.
intimidation factor sometimes, man.
Well, I know that. That's why I'm always. You're that player that I'm always like. I'm glad he's on my team because would not be
Perfect.
fun making that
Oh, it's just
run through
perfect.
the end.
That's a life goal characterization right there. The guy
That's
that
what
if
you
he
want.
wasn't on your team, you would absolutely hate him. So good. I'm the David Perron of our Thursday night indoor team. Fantastic. I'm gonna go put my Perron jersey on now and wear it like a badge
There
of
you go.
honor.
You should. But yeah, we'll put a ball on that one. Just again, I feel like you could listen to the past 4 episodes and just insert team name here because it feels like the same thing, different week of City drops points this time at home, again in a game where you feel like you let those points go. So we'll put a bow on that, but we'll move on to something a little more positive, and that's of course the sponsors of this show, and we'll kick it off with our two title sponsors, and that's Ready to Live Wellness. Whether you're looking for CrossFit, personal training, anything that you're looking to improve upon physically, mentally, just feeling your greatest, especially now that the weather's starting to get a lot warmer and nice and wanting to be outside, taking trips coming up, now's the perfect time to go check out Ready to Live Wellness. They'll make sure you're attacking your goals, but also making sure you're doing it in a safe environment and making sure you're doing everything properly and feeling the best you can. And as well, it's all one-stop shop. You just head right upstairs and check out their body movement specialists, their PTs, their masseuses, everything upstairs. Pilates coming soon. A lot of cool events. It's just a great place all around, great community. You're not going to find a better place when it comes to improving your health than Ready to Live Wellness. So make sure you go check them out at 1530 South Kings Highway Boulevard, and as well on at R2L Wellness on their socials. And Dave, you can't just look good, you got to feel good. And part of looking good is adding that merch and that swag to your wardrobe. And you already know there's no better place than Warrior Logo Wear. Tell the folks about it.
No, there's not. The official swag sponsor, the official DH drip provider at 12 East Main Street in Muscuda, Illinois. Check them out for all your individual and team sportswear needs. They are a proud veteran-owned business. We've got Memorial Day coming up. I'm sure you can go there and thank them for their service, and also spend some money there. Eric talked about it being talked about Ready to Live being a great local business, part of the local community. Same applies to Warrior Logo Wear. They'll help you get your custom apparel quickly without sacrificing quality. And if you're looking to set up an online store, they can help you launch your custom web store and handle everything to set up and shipping. They can fully design a logo for you or help you design a logo if you're artistically disinclined like myself. They can fill any order minimum, perfect for any size or company. The store setup is free, no hidden fees. You know we love that. And they will ship those products directly to your customers. That's Warrior Logo Wear at 12 East Main Street in Muscuda, Illinois, or online on the socials at Warrior Logo Wear on Instagram. Those are all lowercase. At Warrior Logo Wear on Twitter, or at warriorlogowear.com, the official swag sponsor, the secondary studio sponsor of the South End Supporters. That's a lot of S's, Eric.
There's a lot of it. Man, you're getting. That's why I let you do the Warrior Logo Wear, because you got the tough challenge with the W's, and then you're hitting with the S's. It's just like a tough tongue challenge. And as I've said on here many times, I struggle with that. So that's why I send them.
You're tongue challenged
every week. I am tongue challenged. Yeah, we'll put it that way. So, like we said earlier on in the episode, with there being a midweek game and schedules and everything like that, for us, we're going to try and get everything that we typically do in 2 episodes into 1 this week. And then come Monday, we will have the recap of that SKC win. We're just going to shout it out there now, that SKC win. If we say it 3 times, maybe it'll keep happening like Beetlejuice. And then we'll also give a recap as well to that Minnesota game. So first, we're going to head over to a little Elite news and notes. That's going to be brought to you again by Elite FT. Make sure you check them out at 101 The Game Drive in Glen Carbon, Illinois, as well as EliteFT.com to get all that great individual training, group training, everything that there is. I mean, you're not going to find a better place to develop your kids or just get them excited about the game. We're excited to get Delaney back into soccer, and, we're going to go check out Elite FT because they were so great with her the first time. There's no better place. Dave, let the people know about Elite FT, and then as well kick it into that Elite news and notes.
Yeah, Elite FT is the premier youth sports training program in the Metro East, and they've been doing it since 2002. I'm a client. My kids are clients. It's just like hair in a can. No, it's much better than hair in a can because it's real and it provides results for any level of player, whether you want to get them introduced early on and join the Bosco's Buddies program. This is geared to the younger kids, 2, 3, pre-K. Bosco's Buddies is fantastic, man. They learn how to play the game. The parents can be on the field with them, helping them learn how to play the game. It teaches them sportsmanship, socialization, soccer fundamentals. That's great. If you've already got kids that are into it and you're looking to train them a little bit, maybe check out their skills, maybe evaluate their skills against some more talented competition. They have rec camps that are specialized for kids from 2nd to 8th grade. They can also give high school teams training. They do provide private and team training for high schools all the time. They have an elite membership program, so you can check that out on the website, EliteFT.com, Elite FT Soccer on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Really just a class organization. Couldn't be any more excited that they are now affiliated with us. But they also bring us, in addition to outstanding youth sports training, they bring us the Elite news and notes every week for the world of
things
city.
I want to highlight before you kick off on that, just because that threw me way off. Hair in a can, that it took me way too long to process what that was. And I wasn't thinking about spray on. I'm thinking like can opener, you open it and then hair in the can. I was like, the best thing since hair in a can. I don't know why that would be but I realized it now.
I think I confused hair in a can with the hair club for men, because I think the hair club for men was the guys when the guy said, not only am I the owner, I'm also a client. But I really,
yes.
I like the visual of this head. And if you're on YouTube, the visual of just spraying on some spray on hair right there.
I wasn't thinking spray, so that when you said it, if you're on the YouTube, go back and look at my face when he first said that. I was just so thrown off. But second thing you highlighted on there that I do think was so much fun, and it's a great bonding experience as well, is for those Bosco buddies and those younger kids the parents do go out there and they get to experience it with the kids. And you play like games like Under the Bridge, where the kids kick it
Yep.
between your legs and then you fall down. Like there's a lot of fun games that can also get you involved as a parent. And you don't have to be a soccer parent either. There was
No.
times where my
Yeah.
wife would jump in and like all that type of stuff. It's a great, and it helps you learn the game as well. So I really wanted to highlight it that as well. If you got younger kids and you're looking to get them involved, you get to go out there at certain ages as well and participate with them. And I find it eases them getting into it.
Yep.
And then eventually they become like my kids and they're like, you can go sit down. I'm having fun. And they make fun. So yeah.
And
I
most
just wanted to highlight
importantly,
those two
with the
things.
younger kids, the youngest kids, it's a 45-minute session because the attention
Yes.
spans are much shorter at those ages. They let them have fun for 45 minutes, lots of drink
With breaks about it.
and then they
Breaks
get them
about
home.
every 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so
a great point as well.
the
Yeah.
elite news and notes, we don't have a whole lot this week. We want to touch on City 2. City 2 dropped a 4-0 decision to the Town. So it was a tough one for them, right? It's been kind of a slog of a year for City 2, and I don't know if it has to do with, you know, their number one goal scorer has been with the top team quite a bit, but they really just haven't found that same groove they had last year. We thought they did. They started off the season, I believe it was 3 wins and a draw, but since then they've only won one, I think, out of their last 4 or 5. They sit 11th in the West now in MLS Next Pro, and that's just not where we're used to seeing them. So it's kind of, you know, it's weird to think that in the ecosystem you could find like the City ecosystem, you know, you could see symptoms that the entire program is kind of down right now. Like, you know, the academy kids have been doing great, which is awesome. You know, they
Yeah.
went and they beat the
Yeah.
Bayern team and did really well in that U16 tournament. But, you know, when it rains, it pours. And unfortunately right now for the whole organization, it is absolutely pouring. And it's been pouring in St. Louis for about the last month and a half too. So maybe as the weather turns, we get less rain, maybe everything will get better. I'm not hoping against hope because, you know, it is what it is.
I will say though, like trending in the MLS and MLS Next Pro, like teams that start the year hot fade, and then teams that start the year slow rise. So I'm just hoping City's holding out that factor.
We need them to rise sooner rather than later because before you know it, it's going to be the middle of summer and those wild card spots are going to be out of reach. So, I mean, it's nothing's over yet, but you got to start seeing signs of improvement. So the other thing that we wanted to touch on was, you know, they had the announcement this week that City will play a friendly against one of the oldest, most storied clubs in English football in Aston Villa, a Birmingham club, not a London club, a Birmingham club, but they've been around forever, something like 120 or 130 years, have won. I think they've won every major European trophy. I could be wrong there.
They've got
a Champions League. Yeah. So as I said, a very storied club. Actually, have only come back. They were in this. They fell out of the Premier League for, let's say, 5 or 6 years, a couple years ago, and I believe went through an ownership change and have built themselves back up. And they're strong top 6-ish club now. They were in the Champions League this year. They got knocked out of the Champions League in the quarterfinals.
Say they had a good run in Champions League.
Yeah,
as well,
they got knocked out, but they got knocked out by the England killers in the quarterfinals. PSG's knocking off all the English teams. Yeah. But great run, good team, likable team to watch. Kind of an exciting club to watch. Yeah. But they're going to come in town. I think it's July 30th. Yeah.
30th.
And going to play a friendly against City. Lot to unpack here with this. And Eric and I were trying to kind of contain ourselves for what we wanted to say about everything about this game, including the timing of it and the competition and just everything that goes into this game. I love the idea in spirit, right? Like the Bayern Leverkusen game from a couple years ago, I didn't get to attend, but I loved the idea in spirit because it's a team that most people, most casual, even most diehard fans are probably never going to get a chance to watch an Aston Villa game, right? Like that's a commitment to travel over to England, and then to travel to Birmingham, which is not really a touristy destination. England, it's a blue collar town. It's a big city, but you know it's a blue collar town. So a lot of casual fans probably would have never heard of Aston Villa. So I love it from that perspective. There's some really good players that I don't think you're going to get to see that play for Villa. I think you'll probably see their second team. I don't think you're going to be seeing John McGinn. I don't think you're going to be seeing.
I'd see McGinn.
You
You
think
might see
so?
McGinn.
You think
Yeah,
so?
because he's in the changing of the guard right now. I think he's kind of like he's on the older end of like being at that club. I think you'd see McGinn. I think he's their like club captain when he's like actually
Yeah.
in the team as well. So I'd imagine you see McGinn. You probably see like Tyron Mings. I'm trying to think of who else.
Ollie,
Digne.
would
I
they
think they're.
play? You think they'll play Ollie Watkins?
Ooh, I don't think he'll
See,
probably be
that's
in
what I
Ibiza.
mean. Like
He'll be
you're
in
talking about
Ibiza or something like that.
the electric. I don't think
Yeah.
you're going to see like these electric players. I think it's going to be there'll be some electric players. I think they'll just be their bench guys.
I think it'll be like any other American preseason tour where you'll see half the team that's like, you'll see like maybe 5 or 6 starters, that they want to travel with the team. And then you'll see like a half and half switch a lot of times where it's
Yeah,
like the first half they'll play like half their starters and half, academy kids, and then they'll flip at the second half. That's typically what I've noticed in the past with like premiership team like your American tours and that
yeah.
type preseason tours and all that type of stuff. But yeah, a lot to unpack as you said. First off, it's mid-season. July 30th is a Wednesday. So why are we adding a mid-season game in Dave, you're pretty familiar with this area. Like is July 30th, it's typically cool,
Oh, it's like paradise.
beautiful
Yeah, it's like best
beautiful
weather of the
weather, right?
year.
In
Yeah,
Midwest.
yeah.
So we're gonna probably be throwing them out in about 100-degree weather. Midweek game. Who knows what the schedule and everything like. It's just kind of confusing as to the timing. I just don't understand like with a struggling team as it is. Don't give me it looks great on paper as far as like an English team is coming to St. Louis and that sort of stuff. But outside of like the discussion of what's the word I'm looking for? But like the image of the club, broadening the image to the. I don't see a lot of benefits to, like you said, the Bayern Leverkusen game. I believe that was what, like early
It was like
February. Like
well, it was like no, it was like November.
okay, so it's like
Yeah,
like, and plus we weren't even in the league yet, so like
yeah.
there's a reasoning behind that. Like this one just doesn't. And I know like English, opposite season, so that's their preseason, so there's probably the only opportunity you're going to get them to come here, but I just think, man, I don't know, and I don't know when this was all scheduled, but if it was scheduled as of recent, I'm just kind of trying to find like the positives in this, other than just the image aspect of it. And we were already struggling with injuries, so it's also like, who are we even going to throw out there for this, sort of friendly? And then I didn't look this up because I'm actually going to be out of town during that. I'm actually going to be seeing United in Chicago. So to your point, this may be one of the few times you ever get to see like those types of teams. This may be one of the few times I ever get to go see, United and that type of stuff. But you were saying like tickets are even a little bit pricey, and that's something that we've been harping on right for a long time is like, man, you're also outpricing yourself with your fans just regular season, but now like friendlies, you said tickets are pretty high because season tickets got members got early access and that type of
I
stuff.
think season ticket members are getting early access to it. I've seen a couple of emails floating around, but it's not like they're massively discounted from what I see. And it's a friendly, and I won't be going not unless I get free tickets. Like everything, the U.S. Open, the U.S. Open general admission fiasco is going to keep a bitter taste in my mouth forever. Not getting the opportunity to re up your season tickets and then paying essentially $55 per ticket for a general admission seat to watch you play a USL 2 team. I feel like I'm being squeezed for my loyalty right now, and that pisses me off.
The other issue too is like if you're a season ticket member, they said if you re-upped from now on, you're not getting an option. Those Open Cup tickets or Leagues Cup tickets, you are like as of right now for a season ticket member, you get right of refusal, meaning you get the opportunity to purchase those tickets like a day or two earlier than general admission, and you either say yes you want them or no you don't want them. coming to the future, they let us know that no, you don't get an option. You're charged with those tickets, and then it's your job to, if you can't make it, offload
That's
those tickets.
interesting. I
So
didn't know
now,
that.
yeah, so now, like, come next year, Open Cup, like that USL game where they're charging whatever $55 to go see it, it's going to be stuck to the season ticket members.
Yeah.
Like, there's no option at that point. Like, it's just like, to your point, you're drawing the fans further away from their loyalty because you're squeezing, everything out of it. And then to this being friendly against if you want to really grow your image, make those tickets $5-10, fill that place out, get as many fans in there as you can, show that you're a team that fills out these stadiums or gets the chance to see don't squeeze your members for, like, upcharging them with tickets for a friendly
Yeah.
for.
It comes off as extremely tone deaf, as did the U.S. Open ticket prices. I feel like that this ownership group is really on a nice edge with some of the more hardcore parts of this fan base. The supporter groups. A lot of the supporter groups took a really hard stand against the league's cup last year, and we didn't agree with them. Right? Like, we thought our position is you support your team, and especially in a high profile competition like that. And that's fine. We can agree to disagree. What I'm seeing now is, like in the Union Omaha game on Wednesday, it was not a full house. It wasn't even a half full house from what I could tell. Now, the weather had a lot to do with that, and the midweek game had a lot to do with that, and the opponent had a lot to do with that. But I see a lot of the SGs are catching a lot of heat now, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair at all because, it's no secret that we're in a really weird economic cycle right now, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like, the basic price point to get into City Park right now to sit anywhere for a group of 4 people is $200, and that's before parking and before food and drinks and what have you. And I don't think anybody should be criticizing anybody for going 2 games or not going 2 games ever. Like, fan how you're going to fan.
Always
Right?
who's always criticizing those people though? It's people that are sitting at home.
Yeah.
They're always saying, "I'm watching this game at home and this stadium's empty. How dare you Why aren't you there?
Yeah. Now
You had you
yeah.
had a commitment. Who's to say that they didn't have a commitment?
Yeah.
You didn't want to pay that for the tickets. Who's to say they didn't want to pay for those tickets? Like, you can't ever blame somebody for going or not going to games. We've said it so many times on this podcast. Fan how you want to fan. If you fan at home and that's where you enjoy it, I've heard that from many people about, like, football games or different sports. They just enjoy watching the atmosphere better at home. Cool. As long as you support the team, I don't care how you do it. If you go to Felix's and check them out as a city on tap, and that's just where you enjoy doing that, cool. As long as you're supporting the team, I don't care. So, yeah, I was a little bit like, we don't really defend, I would say, supporter groups on the show, but, like, I don't think you should be taking shots at anybody for whether or not they attend. Now, I understand it looks a little, different because they made their stand on the league, but you can't ever say why or why not they weren't there. So unless you have definitive proof that they just didn't want to go because they don't like the product, then yeah, you can maybe get on them. But I don't think anybody has definitive proof that was the case.
No.
It was a Wednesday night. There was also the SeatGeek issue where people weren't able to buy tickets. I did see that, but I think at the end of the day, I think the real reason it comes down to was, I mean, if you're asking just those season ticket members, which most, I would imagine, supporter groups are, to pay this much for their season ticket and then also shell out extra money on top of that for a midweek USL game against the USL 2 side, and then as well parking, the fees are adding up. And like you said, we're not exactly in a moment to just kind of, at least I know for myself personally, I'm not just in a space to just be like, take it. It's a tough spot.
Yeah. And I want this team, like, when I committed to being a season ticket holder, I've never done this before, right? 1 and 2 for Cardinals, 1 and 2 for Blues, but, like, I've always been a huge Blues fan and huge Cardinal fan, don't get me wrong. But I never felt like, okay, this is something that is so close to me that I want this to be like a consistent, huge part of my life and my social life. And then this team comes along and the opportunity is there, and absolutely I'm on board. It's a significant fiscal commitment, but like this is my life, right? Like if there's one thing that I would love for the huge part of my life to be centered on, it'd be like a soccer team and my soccer people and my soccer family and my family that plays soccer. But you know, yeah, it hurts. It feels like I'm being squeezed. It feels like it feels like my loyalty and my dedication is definitely being leveraged against me. And I know that that's what a lot of these people, a lot of the people that boycotted like Leagues Cup and stuff like that. I know that that's what they're feeling, and I relate to that for sure. Yeah,
especially when you're seeing ticket prices around the rest of the league.
yeah. Kiss my
People
ass with
10
with
bucks.
this team being the among the highest average ticket. Like this is St. Louis, Missouri, man. Like we should not be we shouldn't be outpacing a lot of these markets like this. Like it's a pretty obvious, you wouldn't say gouge because it's not a gouge because there's not like a must have thing, but you know, we can acknowledge they need I think that they would acknowledge without recording devices on that, oh yeah, we're gonna take this market while the demand is there. The problem you run the risk of is alienating the market and then you have no demand and then you have no customers and then by the time you make it affordable enough to where you can get people back in the door, the casuals are disinterested and they're gone. And
So
like I said earlier, they're on a knife's edge here. Like they were very blessed to come into this city at a time where the largest drawing fan base is very frustrated and very apathetic in the Cardinal fan base. And I'm not saying that the Cardinals are a juggernaut now, but people are excited about that team, at least for the time being. And the
yeah,
margins in this sport, are not high enough for you to not capitalize on what is a rabid sports fan base. You have no NFL competition at all. Like,
hmm
yeah, the
yeah.
Battlehawks draw, but that's neither sustainable nor like a realistic market of what you're going after. But like the casual Cardinal fan could also very easily be the casual City fan. And I think that they really need to kind of look at themselves in the mirror and kind of decide, okay, what do we want to do here? Do we want to be catering to, you know, the only the high dollar people that use this as a social event, or do we want to really like take this thing and fertilize the grassroots element of this and build sustainable future? The membership is there, the people are there, the kids are there, but you've got to put out a winning, consistent, exciting product, or it's going to go to waste.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. And you brought up a point just to put the bow on this topic, and we'll move on. But you brought it up, and I really find a lot of correlation right now with what you're seeing on the field as well. I think it would be must easier for them to adjust starting out cheap, and then you put out a product out that's exciting and consistent, and then you could, elevate from there. But you keep elevating right now, and to your point, you're going to start to lose those diehards. You're going to start to lose, or you're going to start to lose the casuals. Last thing you want to do is lose those diehards, because then it's going to be hard to bring them back into the park if that momentum's killed. And I see it all the time where people are like, I'd love to go to games, but they're just outpriced and I can't afford it and all this type of stuff. And you got season ticket members that are trying to give away tickets, but they're also taking losses, huge losses on what they paid for those tickets. And you're trying to get these people in the stadium, but it's a worry that we've said it all along. I'm worried that they're going to price out people from getting to go to games. And there's so much exciting talent, and it's something that's just so consistent really within U.S. soccer right now, is you're pricing out a lot of like talented kids just because U.S. soccer, youth soccer is so expensive. You're also going to start pricing out excited fans for the game, and it's going to be hard to build back up if you're not putting that product out on the field. And I wish they would see that. I wish they would realize that, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, the game against Aston Villa will be July 30th. It's a friendly, so I believe tickets. Did you say when those? I believe it's like May 20th or something like that. Where
The
they go on the
season ticket
general
holders, I
admission.
believe, have until May 25th to opt in or opt out.
May 25th, and then I believe after that it goes on to the general public. So again, hey, if you're excited to see a Premier League club and you got the availability, go check them out. It'll be a Wednesday game. So we will shift our focus into preview as far as the noisy neighbors to the west, SKC, and that will be brought to you by, of course, STL Kalachi at 1530 South Kirkwood Road in St. Louis in the Sunset Hills locations. I mean, boy, we always say it like that emotional hedge with like, Felix's Pizza. If you're at least there during the City on Tap bars watching the games and like, you see the results that you've been seeing, you at least have that, emotional hedge of feeling good about yourself because you had an amazing meal with the pizza and wings. But I feel like if you're not at Felix's Pizza and you want an emotional hedge to feel good about yourself, that next morning you got to go check out STO Kalachi with those delicious kolaches that they have available.
Yeah, either pregame with a nice 12 kolaches, or the next morning you can always drown your sorrows if this battle for 12th place in the West goes awry. But yeah, check out the Sunset Hills STL Kalachi at 1530 South Kirkwood Road, the intersection of Kirkwood Road and Watson next to 44. This is the home of the original chicken enchilada kolache. They can also whip you up a batch of any of the classics, from the egg and chorizo and sausage gravy of the breakfast variety, or if you're looking for lunch or maybe an early dinner, you got the Philly cheesesteak, you got the brisket. I mean, the options are just endless. And then if you're feeling like you want to satisfy that sweet tooth, I know David's not here, but he'll really like this part because he really likes when I whisper. They have some delicious dessert kolaches as well, including the s'mores kolache. Just let it cool down so it doesn't burn the roof of your mouth. 1530 South Kirkwood Road. At Kirkwood Road and Watson next to 44 STL Kalachi. We make breakfast better. We also make the match week preview better. And we're previewing the second leg of the barbecue that I saw. I saw that. I've seen that before. I saw it repeated in Discord this week. I kind of like it. Much better than the I-70 series or I-70 rivalry, whatever you want to call it. I do appreciate that. But let's be honest, man. We have lost the right to talk any crap to Kansas City, to Sporting KC at this point, especially after you go out there and lay an egg in Nebraska Furniture Mart. But it won't
especially when that team can figure out how to win without registering a shot on goal.
Yeah, that's incredible, right? I
mean, yeah.
But I have a feeling, like I said, there have been some signs of City playing better. And Kansas City's not any good. Like it's not like they're just vastly improved. I think they've only got two. They have 3 wins on the season. City has 2. They're scoring significantly more goals than City is, but that's no secret. They're also allowing significantly more goals. Goal differential is the same thing at -5. They've got all the usual suspects on the team. This year, we saw that again. It was the mistakes last game that led to both SKC goals. So
it was the mistakes as well as not finishing off our chances. Remember early on, Wall hit that post, and it would have been we said from there it would have been like who knows where that game would have went. But there were also opportunities there to be taken. But I agree with you. It was mostly once again. I feel like that we keep feeling like we're saying the same thing, but that game especially was like the mistakes, and it really could have towards the end been a lot worse, because I remember distinctly at that game when they got that first goal, you just saw heads hung. Like it was just like there was no coming back from that. But
shots were equal at 11 last game. XG was very similar. It was an even game on balance. I mean, they scored at 71 was when Joveljic scored his first one, and then he put the second one in at 88. So he's a dangerous player. Tommy's a dangerous player. It's they're not going to surprise you. Like what this team is going to do. You know how they're going to play. They're going to want to play more open, and it's just a matter if City wants to actually play open and takes advantage of their chances. I think that Vegas is really leaning towards the home field advantage being the X factor for City. I've got the odds here, the 3-way odds as of Monday night. So these are going to be pretty close to what they're going to be come game time. City's plus 100, the Tie is plus 270, and Kansas City's plus 230 in the 3-way bet. And then Tie no bet, City is a minus 184 favorite. It's almost a 2-to-1 favorite Vegas likes City. I weirdly like City too. I know that it's it's weird to say when you haven't won a game in a while, almost 2 months. But I just they've got they've got to get it figured out. Let's put it that way. They have to get it figured out because I could see I could see if they lose this game, it being the end of Olaf. I really can. I see
I
a
said that.
world where if they lose this game, especially if it's like a if it's another like 2-0 defeat and it's kind of a feckless effort, I could see him getting his walking papers on Thursday morning.
I said that last episode. I
Yeah.
said, man, if he can't find a win out of SKC, that might be the actual deciding factor, especially the run that we've been on. I think it was like winless in our last like 8 or something
Yeah.
crazy like that. A couple things that to your point that we talked about a little bit earlier that I need to see out of this team. I need them to let Kansas City know that we're there early, and especially if Davis is playing. You can't let the last time that we go there. I know it was in their home field, but when they won, Davies went over to our home field or our fans, remember, and
Yep.
he let
Yep.
them know post. You got to let him know that we didn't forget that, and you got to let him know that that first challenge, like we're here tonight. You have to let this whole team know that. To your point, I feel like this is almost the battle of the two easy scouted teams. We know what each team is going to do, and it's going to be can these teams find a change, find a who wants it more, who wants this, and especially like if who's gonna. This is a game that could possibly turn around. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Like we notice a lot of times the teams that start out slow end up catching hot later. Like who's to say that this Derby game couldn't be a little bit of a turnaround, especially like midweek game. You got a tough opponent in Minnesota coming up this week. Like we were hoping that USL, even though it was a lesser opponent, was going to be a little bit of a bounce going against San Diego. Who's to say that you can't go out there, put up a performance, just show me something, show me some sort of life, show me that you're looking to play simple, show me that you're looking to just show up against your rival at your home. Like if ever there was a game to just show me some sort of life, like show me something, Olaf, to save your job. Show me something to these players that show me that you deserve to be out on that field and in that starting 11 or coming off the bench, first name up. Like just show me something that there's still a little passion in there, that there's still a little fight in there. Like I want to be that physical team at home, like you pointed out. We haven't been that, all year really. Like and which is crazy because Olaf was known as such a like physical, demanding defender. Like why isn't he emphasizing that on this team? If ever there was a game to go out there and just show the fans something, this is it. You got another tough run coming up. It just feels like every game from here on, you're looking up on the table. Like, go out there and show up. Just show some life to these fans. Show like there's a reason that we should keep coming out each week. Like, just give us a glimmer of something. And if ever there's a game, I feel like this is it. Yeah, Joveljic, he had our number last week or last time we played. Shut down Tommy, shut down Salloway, shut down all the normal, the usual names. I know we're still going to be dealing with injuries. I keep hearing rumors. It's sounding like Berkey's coming back. Not that that's really been our biggest issues in this, whole run that we've been dealing with. But who knows, man? Like you get your captain back, that could be the thing that just sparks the rest of the team. I don't care what it is. I saw today, finally, John Gruden put out a video that says, I need the St. Louis. And we've seen what it did with the Blues. We've seen what it did with the Cardinals. Like, it's about City's time. So let's hope that John Gruden voodoo doll, whatever it may be, that gets us back on track. This is it. And if ever there is a game that I want to look back on at the end of this year and think that was our turning point in the season, I want it to be SKC at home, and I want it to be because we absolutely thumped them out of the stadium and back to Nebraska. Like I want it to be one of those nights that you just I'm going to work, I'm leaving work to go to this game. I made so many compromises to be able to be at this game. I want to go back to that game that night just with a smile on my face all the way back out to Chesterfield feeling like that was worth it. So give me something, City.
You
Give
got
me
me
something.
ready to run through a brick wall. Maybe you need to talk to the
Let's
team
go.
before the game.
I think about that all the time. I'm thinking like if I can get people convinced to do 100 burpees in coaching a class, like I think I should just get in there one night and be like, look, you don't know who the hell I am, but boys, I'm here to toe. I'm just like, let me give them like, let's go. Like I just want this.
I'm going with a wild DH like prediction. You've inspired me. I think it's going to be a thumping. I think it's going to be a thumping. I see it. I see it. I see that the chances being created. This is going to be a lot. dependent. When you were talking about show me something, this isn't just the players on the field. This is Olaf Melberg needing a call out too.
Yes.
Show
Yes.
me that you have ideas and that you are open to making the necessary changes to see if you can spark the team. If you can spark the team, not if they can spark themselves. Like if you're not getting your leadership from on the field, if you're not getting the passion out of your players, it's up to you to put them in a position to succeed. So lineup dependent, obviously, but I'm saying it's going to be a 2-0 City win, and it's going to be not. I mean, it's not even going to be that close. I'm saying that this is going to be one of those games where it could very easily be 3-4, but I'm saying a 2-0 City win. I think that I think that they do it. I think that they make it look good this time. I think that calling out of the fans is not going to be forgotten by the players because I think the players do care. I think they appreciate the fans a lot, and I think it's going to be a mollywhopping. That's my prediction.
Love it. And you brought up a great point. Like, Olaf, show me you want this. Show
Yep.
me you still want this job because I really, to your point, this could be that game that if SKC comes in here and puts up another performance like they did out in Kansas, like how hard is it going to be to keep defending and keep that he should keep this job? You know, I know there's no rumors or anything like that going around, but like show me you want this. Show me that there's still faith in you going forward, that you got the best out of this team and you can lead them. 2-0. Yeah, I actually convinced myself because going into this I was going to say a 2-2 draw, but like I just home field, the players have to realize that this game truly means something, and it could be a real turning point, or it could be a real like. I mean, if you come out of here without points, it's going to
Listen,
be hard.
if they
If you,
if they get another coach fired, this is a house cleaning. This is
yeah,
not this is not a situation to where this group of players, if they get another coach fired before the summer, then this is like you're cleaning house and everybody that's over 24 years old. At least that's what you should do. And I'm including Roman Berkey and Klaus and Leuven and Teuchert and Cello. Like, if you can't get it done with what would be your third coach, it's time to clean house. So this needs to be for them too, man. You're playing for, and the thing about the European players too, it's like you screw this up, you might not ever touch the MLS again. You might be stuck in Bundesliga 2 or wherever for the rest of your career because you blew this golden opportunity on a big stage.
yeah. A lot of people have a lot of questions to ask within themselves and show up. That game will be at 7:45, a little bit slightly later on the night. I'm hoping it's because he's going to play that speech that I just said on loop for about 15 minutes, and that's why there's a 15-minute delay. But yeah, Wednesday night, 7:45 kickoff time against SKC. Big game for really both sides as far as the future of the season goes. And so, hey, show up, get loud. Let's take it to them both on the field and off. And finally, we will move on to one of our favorite segments of the
Everyone's
show.
favorite
Definitely
segment.
everyone's favorite segment of the show. It is the Felix's Pizza Pub, South End Submissions, of course, brought to you by Felix's Pizza Pub, located at 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown. If you can't make it to City Park on Wednesday night, there's no better place to check out because they are official City on Tap bar. Go get you a big slice of pizza. Go get you some wings. As Dave always seems so confident with his 12 kolaches, go get you 3 slices of pizza and don't just order them beforehand before they bring them out and you realize just how big they are. And don't forget that jalapeno ranch drizzle. So we'll kick this one off on Facebook with our man Jeff Thornborough. He said, while we can discuss all that is wrong with the current situation with our beloved team, the bottom line is we do not have enough quality level players to compete from the top of the table match after match. And I'm okay with that. And we are a third year club. We are where I would expect to be in the grand scheme of things. I'm in it for the long haul. I love this team, players, staff, my seats, the collared jersey, and the grounds. I'm so happy to have a football club and thoroughly enjoy attending and watching every match, lose or draw. Spent the first half of the match in a new seat location, second level on the first row, just behind the away side bench. While the view was awesome, it just wasn't atmospherically magical as being in that lower bowl. Second half, we made the switch with the South State Junior and enjoyed the final 45 back with a familiar group of supporters. Once again, very nice to have a visit with Eric. Glad he got to meet my soccer loving, Arkansas living South State Junior. He actually is a junior. The name works out well. Mrs. State Mrs. South State once again went back for the brisket mac and cheese from Farm Truck. I still need to try that. Interesting note from Sykeston, I can travel to 4 different states: Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas. All are within a 60-minute range. Since this will drop on Thursday, I would like to add what a great win by the squad last night against KC. Made the ride home more enjoyable and getting up early for work a whole lot easier. Berkey looked phenomenal in his return to lineup. Jeff Thornborough, South State supporter, and a great American. While this won't air on Thursday, I just love everything about that. Especially that first paragraph. Like, yeah, the year's not what we expected, but at the end of the day, like, there is something about, like, just, I don't know. There's a meme that I always shared with, like, United, where it's a guy in a downpouring rain and he's holding an umbrella over the Man United symbol, and it's just like, even though I hate you, absolutely hate you, I'll never quit loving you. And it's just, I feel, you always feel that with, like, any club that you support. Like, yeah, the collar jerseys, when I'm watching the games back and, like, half of them are flipped up, half on one side, like, yeah, it's like, God, those. But I bought one because I'm still like, I just feel for that jersey. I love my seats. I love the people around me. I every night, like, I take a loss harder than probably I should. Like, there's something about, a team that you love and just supporting them. It was cool to meet your son. He was super awesome to talk to, very passionate about the game, coaches, kids, and everything like that. And I just always love talking to people that are, just love the game and keep the game growing with coaching kids. Man, have you had that brisket mac and cheese yet from
I have not.
Farm Truck? You haven't had Farm Truck yet.
No.
Every time I see pictures of it, it just looks phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, it's getting more and more evident that it just seems like, man, the talent level, maybe it isn't, there, but it's definitely not there with, I would say, half the team that we're seeing out in the starting 11, whether that's injury reasoning or not. But, like, at some point we got to start getting to that level.
Got to have results.
Got to have results. Next, we'll move to our man, Andy Sharoni, or My Sharoni. He said, I'm frustrated, but it was an enjoyable night with weather and the families and a really good crowd. The lines are down, getting in early. Enjoyed the first half. That is true. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, David said something about, like, weather. Like, really, we have had pretty great weather in every home game so far this year. I can't think of a game that, like, I know there was one game that was, slightly delayed because of lightning, but outside of that, like, temperature-wise, weather-wise, no real big complaints on my end. You feel the same?
Yeah, I mean the ones that I've been to, the weather challenges were because I was inappropriately dressed. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was yeah, I agree. Definitely good weather so far. And I'm a big My Sharoni fan, so I'm glad that he's still finding the positives in the social aspect of it and stuff. And he'll be there. That's the thing about Andy, and he's a St. Louis sports diehard, and he'll be there through the bad, and he'll be there when the inevitable good comes around. So that guy, he is what he is as advertised.
Yes. Shout out My Sharoni. Because, yeah, to your point, when you're there for the lows, it just makes those highs feel that much greater. Next, we'll go to our man, Eric O'Donnell. He said, for the pod, is it time to get out the markers and the poster board and make a let him go poster board with the frozen Olaf on it? Also, for season ticket holders, do you think they're renewing or moving around to different sections? What section would you transfer to, if at all?
149.
Yeah.
149 row 2.
There we go. Yeah, man, I would love to have you with us on
No,
that. That would just be
Moneta
so
Pitch
much
Club.
fun.
Moneta Pitch Club.
Really? Yeah. I
No.
haven't. Yeah, just the.
The all-inclusive on the field seats right next to the bench.
Yeah.
Actually, I say that, and I'm sure it's a cool game day experience, but the game is so fast the closer you get to the field. And even when you and I sit together, I find the viewing experience when the play is on the opposite side of the pitch to be a little more challenging because you can't pick up the depth of some of the
Mhm.
crosses and the passes like you
Yeah.
can when you're a little bit higher up. Now, you gain a lot more appreciation for the pace and for the ability when you're down and when the play is in front of you. But I have gotten so used to being in the second deck now and seeing how the play develops there that I don't know that I would leave 204. And we're so central. It's a very balanced viewing spot, and you got the overhang too. That helps.
Yeah, yeah. That is a nice thing. Yeah, as far as sections, I think supporter section would obviously be fun just to be a part of that, week in and week out, and maybe get a little bit of recognition from the club because God, they don't recognize the South End whatsoever. So, maybe a little bit of recognition there. But like, I'm agreeing. The thing is like, yeah, the vantage point a little higher is nice. And yeah, it does suck when they are on the north end, just trying to, get that depth perception and everything like that. But it's a nice yin and yang for me to where I can be down by the field and experiencing the pace of play and just everything intricate going on the field. And then I can go home and watch the game from that like higher vantage point. So I can get to enjoy a little bit of both worlds. So the other thing too is like, as far as like, uh, are they moving? I don't think season ticket movers holders are moving yet. At least not for this year, because I think the time for you to be able to move is even in like July. So I don't think they've moved yet, but I think it's just been you've been seeing a lot more people offloading tickets this year, and you're seeing a lot of newer faces, which is great because any time you can, as long as there's people in the stadium, I don't, it's great just having anybody in the stadium. But yeah, I got to see you, Eric, and I'm glad you chose your grandmother's $5 bill at Christmas rather than booing your dog or your brother's dog at
Yeah,
the match day,
I
and
booed his
you took
brother's
the high
dog
road.
just for him.
I thought I heard somebody up there
Yeah,
doing it, so
that
I'm
was
glad
loud.
somebody did.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got you there. Next, we'll go to Donna Worthen, or DH's mother-in-law. She said, first question from the Rick Rants of Rick. Oh, we got our first Rick's Rant official on here. He said, where do you think the team's issues lie? Olaf, Lutz, players, ownership, etc. He said, they said also for Eric as a drummer, have you ever played to a Rush song like Tom Sawyer or Limelight? I have heard that drummer has a unique style and hard to copy. Sorry, not a soccer question, just curious. So I'll knock out the second part of that question,
Neil
and then we can get
Peart,
to
man.
the
Neil
first part.
Peart, one of the best
Neil
drummers
Peart.
ever.
So that is the first drummer that I ever knew by name. Legend. My dad, he played Keishi, and Rush was one of his favorite songs. So growing up, I heard a lot of Neil Peart. Uh, I attempted uh, many times Tom Sawyer, and it was a joke with my dad that every time I attempted it, I broke sticks because I had no clue what the hell I was doing, just flailing my arms, trying to keep up with that song. He's just a legend, one of my Mount Rushmore of drummers all time.
Yeah,
But no,
rest in
I haven't
peace,
hit.
Neil.
Yes,
Did
rest
you
in
ever did
peace.
you ever get to see
Just
Rush?
no, that's one of my biggest regrets is never getting to see Rush.
My first concert
I,
ever
I
was Rush.
really,
Yeah,
oh man, that's amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing because I've watched videos of them online, and they
Our
just look like an absolutely amazing
our
show.
buddy Andrew Bywater. I went with him, and his dad is a big Rush fan, and yeah, that was my first concert ever was Rush. It was pretty sick.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it's something I always wish that I could have went back and seen. I have only done one Rush song, "Fly by Night." I did, so check out my YouTube channel if you want to and check that video out. But it's not anywhere near the level of what Neil Peart was because he was just an absolute legend of a drummer. And so, but to that first part of the question, where do you think the team's issues lie? I think it's an even distribution about around all parties involved. I think the players are underperforming. They're not playing up to their level and they're up to their skills. I think you have a coach that is just seemingly not knowing really what tactics to make game wise and everything like that. It's just kind of the same things all each game in and out, and then it's kind of like you said, throw caution at the wind towards the end of the game and try and make these changes late. Lutz, I mean, I can't really speak on Lutz or the ownership because I don't know what is really going on behind the scenes. Who's to say that he isn't going out for some of these bigger players and just things aren't happening? So I can't. That's where I always have trouble finding. It seems like you see him on socials. It's always Carolyn Kindle or Lutz. Where I have issues with Carolyn Kindle, or I can't even say Carolyn Kindle because again I don't know. Is like we've touched on is the pricing of a lot of things that are maybe outpricing people with going to the games and that type of stuff. And again, I can't speak on Lutz because I don't know who he's scouting. I don't know what he's trying. I don't know what he's tried that hasn't worked, and all those intricate things that go on behind the scenes that us fans will never understand. And it's a lot more difficult than I think people understand. As following Premier League all the years, it seems like a player has been a done deal for United, and then all of a sudden they're at a different team, and you find out all these other things. So it's tough to put ownership there, but for me personally, I just think it's a distribution across the board. I think everything within City right now is a little bit underperforming. So that's my thoughts. What about you?
Agreed. Yeah, it's shared blame across the board. Before we move on to the next one, I want you. You said Mount Rushmore of drummers. I'm going to give you my Mount Rushmore, and I don't think these aren't the best four. These are my favorite four. Just to be clear, I don't believe that these are the best four. So I'll put Neil Peart. I'll put Neil Peart on there for sure. Chad Smith, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Not this like metronomic, like just light it up like Neil was, but like just a consistent, physical, just vibrant like presence in a band that's been around for like 40 years now. Love Chad Smith. This one is John Bonham. John Bonham is the
Godfather, yeah.
the groundwork, the foundation of one of the greatest rock bands of all time in Led Zeppelin. Like there is no Jimmy Page writing hooks if there's not John Bonham there to lay the rhythm down for those hooks. I think that Jimmy Page is probably the best hook writer in the history of rock and roll, but I don't think that I think that he reached new heights when Led Zeppelin came and John Bonham just took off in stature and fame. And then it's actually two guys it's very niche, it's very metal, but Joey Jordison into Jay Weinberg. Those were the back-to-back two, the two, neither Amir and Slipknot anymore, but if you're an old school new metal fan, when Slipknot came on the scene and you heard Joey Jordison hit the double bass with his feet at the same time, it as a 12-year-old, it kind of blew my friggin' mind and then when I saw what he was doing with his feet, and then when he left the band. So Jay Weinberg you remember Max Weinberg from the Tonight Show?
Yeah, he's his son, yeah.
Yeah, it's his son. And he was a fan of the band when he was a kid, and he ended up being a big part of the band for the last 10 or 12 years or so. That guy was a metronomic, still is a metronomic drummer. Like, we saw him, I've seen him a half a dozen times, and I'm still kind of blown away that anyone can play the drums that intensely, that quickly. So those are my favorite four. I'm not saying those are the best four. Those are my favorite four.
No, I love that. Yeah. Jay Weinberg still is like a surprise to me because it still hasn't really come out why he was asked to leave Slipknot.
Yeah.
He was so impressive to me. Yeah, I love this. My Mount Rushmore, I agree with you on two of them. Neil Peart, obviously. I mean, just what he was doing just is still so impressive. That band, I don't believe, would be where it was without him. Same with John Bonham. I have him on there. Just so ahead of his time with stuff he was doing on the drums. And yeah, I think he elevated Led Zeppelin to where they were. For me, Travis Barker is right up there as like, just because of creatively, he could play any genre across the board. He's just so skilled, and I enjoy any song that he's on. It just really, I enjoy listening to the drums and just realizing like the creativity that he can bring out. Last one for me was Taylor Hawkins. Foo Fighters passed away, unfortunately. But
yeah.
For me, Taylor Hawkins, I remember we were in Memphis actually with DH and South End Stan when the news broke, and like we were in a bar and I'm sitting there like trying to hold back tears because it was just such a shock to me when he passed. But like, I think to be able to capture what Dave Grohl is trying to bring forth, and make it happen on the drums, I think just shows how talented of a level that he was, the passion that he had. And one of the greatest concerts I've ever been to was that Foo Fighters show, and just watching them play for 2.5 hours, no breaks, and just seeing him on the kit was just super amazing. So those are my four. I love that. That was a fun little
That's fun.
question.
We
And
like music.
yeah, we'll, yeah, we'll
We
go.
have rarely ventured off into music, and I think we ought to do it more. Honorable
I
mention.
agree.
Honorable mention. Keith Moon. Keith Moon was the
Yes.
original like
Yeah.
rock star drummer.
Yeah.
Like,
You're right.
yeah, he was
Pat,
one of the
not
original
able to
rock
make
stars.
gi- yeah, not able to make gigs because he was too like
Yeah, sex,
hammered or
sex, drugs, and
yeah.
rock and roll.
Yeah, you're right. He was the epitome of that. Yeah, that's a great shout. We'll keep it going with other fun ones. Brian Royce comes in and says, "Who will win in a fight between a shark and a crocodile in the ocean?" To me, in the ocean, I think a shark takes that one. I think if you're just talking
Yeah.
ocean,
So do you remember? Do you remember there was a show that a short-lived television show that did this? It was like Animal Fight Club or Animal Face
yes,
Off, and
yes,
they
I
did
can't.
this
Oh
and they
man,
did this exact one. And I used to love that show because it was so absurd. And they would make these huge like models to like measure the bite force and like make this big show of it.
yes,
It's like you're just doing that so you can create giant robots with metal teeth. And then they would plug in all the scenarios and the stats. And I think that the shark won, if I remember right. I think the setting was like the shallows, like almost like I think it was a bull shark. I think it was a bull shark and a
mm,
saltwater crocodile, like in brackish water. And I think the speed of the bull shark won, if I remember right. So yeah, I obviously yeah, if it's in the water, I mean, it's also depending on. I thought the shallow water, the crocodile might have an advantage just because they're a lot more mobile than people give them credit for. Like they're pretty quick. But yeah, I still think I go with the shark.
I think when it comes to open water like that, like you usually see those videos of sharks and they're just like slowly meandering through the ocean. But when you see them actually get it, especially like if you see like videos of like sharks in shallow going for like, that's where it's like, oh, wow, that's like
Yeah.
absolutely, that's where you get like the terrifying stuff like that. And I know my wife listening to this right now is having a panic attack because that's like one of her number one fears is like
When's the
sharks in the
Florida
ocean.
vacation coming up?
Yeah, it's gonna be delayed after this episode. So thanks for that one.
We're going to a pool. We're not going to the beach. We're going to a pool.
Yeah, exactly. Next, we'll go to our man Fetlord Colton or Colton Cook. He's got one directed, I'm assuming, directly towards me. He said, "What is the best Hobbit or Lord of the Rings movie?"
He
So,
threatened this.
man,
We threatened this a couple
yeah,
weeks ago.
we threaten it. Oh man, I would hate to keep threatening Lord of the Rings stuff coming my way, or music, or food, or any of those type of stuff. But
See, there's no good answer with these because my wife's going to call me a dork, which is fine. And like, there. Here's the thing: Star Wars and Lord of the Rings fans are all very particular and very defensive of their movies.
yeah, you're
So
right.
if you
You're
don't
right.
like what they like, or if you criticize what they like, or if you like what they don't like, you're going to catch heat either way. So I don't know, man. I really like The Hobbit. I think out of the six live action movies, I think
Hmm.
I like The Hobbit the best. And I think I like it
Okay.
because of the backstory, and it goes into a little bit more of the what you heard about in the three Lord of the Rings movies, but it's like, oh, that makes sense, and you make the connections. I also really like the prequel series that was just on Prime, the one that was
Rings of
about the
Power.
elves. What was it? I can't remember what it was
Ring
called now. Rings of
Rings
Power.
of
Yeah,
Power.
I really liked that because it was like, oh, that's how that person got to where they are. I really enjoyed that because I never read the books. I didn't have the patience to read Tolkien. He's a little long-winded, and that's not that kind of book. I like them. I like them. I like the fantasy movies like that, but I never really got into the fantasy books like that or Game of Thrones or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think The Hobbit.
Okay. So I'm one of those like Lord of the Rings fans though that if you told me anything, I'd be like, yeah, I like that too. Like I know a lot of people give like Rings of Power a lot of crap. They don't like it, and I enjoy it. So like
Yeah.
anything that like is Lord of the Rings, I'm a fan of. I will say like the Hobbit movies are like my just like feel good. Like to your point, like every once in a while, I just like to go back to them to like feel that originality and like seeing like where everything kind of developed and everything like that. I'm more even across the actual like Lord of the Rings trilogy, like to where, I mean, I'll there'll be times where I'll be like, I'm feeling the the Fellowship, I'm feeling the Return of the King, but I would say like if you had to make me choose one, I would say the Two Towers. Like to
Oh
me,
yeah.
just the battle at Helm's Deep is just like
Yep.
it's such a amazing thing. And the only thing that I will also give a little bit of a nod to with the Lord of the Rings trilogy compared to The Hobbit is just everything was like actual actors playing all the characters, whereas the Hobbit got into the CGI stuff, and that's where it, sometimes it dulls it down a little bit. But to me, I mean, I have it tattooed on me, so like, I mean, obviously, I love the Lord of the Rings, and like, I'm just a fan. If anybody, it's the same way with like City or anything else. Like, if you're a fan of it, I'm a fan of you
Yeah.
being a fan of it.
Yeah.
So there's no wrong answer there.
Two Towers is strong.
Strong.
The Return of the King did the CGI and the Ghost Army thing, and that one really like. I know that's what a lot of people that are like the like movie purists are like. Oh, they ruined that movie because they just gave him a Ghost Army that couldn't be defeated. But I like Return of the King. I like them all. Like, let me be clear. I like them all quite a bit. I got to see the Battle of the Five armies in like one of those like high frame rate, like super high Dolby Digital. That was an experience, man. And I know it was a lot of
Yeah. No, I
CGI, but
bet.
it was still pretty sick. Like,
No, I bet that was amazing. The only knock I will say on the Return of the King that I do have, I saw that in theaters and I had to go to the bathroom so bad towards the end, and the screen fades to black about 5 times, and then
all,
it
all
comes
the
back and then
alternate
continue the story.
endings.
So you would see it fade to black, and you'd be like, "All right, good, I can go." And then it'd be like, "Oh no, it's still going." So
No,
that's
you
the
had
only
to see
gripe
the
I have
alternate
is like
endings.
Peter Jackson was like faking me out. So
He got you so good.
all the people, so now all the people that aren't nerds, you can come on back. We'll keep this episode going. And we'll go it with our buddy Gorski, even though he's wrong on all his wing takes,
Gorski.
Zach Gorski. But I love his question here. He said, "How do we get some SES swag? Let me buy a scarf or something." Going out on a limb here, but how awesome was that game last night? Huge win from the boys. And he's saying as if the episode was coming out Thursday. So yeah, we'll agree with you. Great win.
We've
It's great
got
to find.
we've got to get more committed about making swag. And the
Let
thing
me post
is,
this question to everybody, and I want you to send this in on your next week's South End submission. What would you like to see
yeah,
the South End supporters make
and
as swags?
yeah, and keep in
T-shirts?
mind when we do this stuff, if we do this stuff, it has to be like bulk orders also.
Yeah.
Like we
What do you
obviously
think people would also be interested
yeah
in as well?
and now
Is it
and we
hats?
do have some friends that I think we could lean on for some production. We've got some connects. So I mean, is it as simple as scarves? Do people want like I think patches are a good idea. I know that there are already a lot of jerseys floating out there. I'd like to find something original. We have the hats, but I'd like to find something a little more unique for us.
Weren't we talking about Speedos for a while? Wasn't
Yeah,
that the
thongs.
big thing that we were
Yes.
talking about?
Yeah, thongs. Yeah, that'd be hot. We'll model them
Yeah.
too.
So yeah, you'll
Yep.
see it in our count. Maybe that'll be the thing is
Ooh,
the
calendar.
South End supporter calendar.
Southern supporter calendar. That's hot.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, yeah, let us know. We'll put the poll up. You want to see thongs, calendars? What is it you want to see? No, but honestly, like, let us know. Yeah, because it's something that we've been, tossing around. But to your point, it's something that we want to make sure a bunch of people are interested in. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll let us know in the submissions, or let us know in the maybe we'll put out a poll or something like that. And so I love that question. So hopefully, Gorski, we can have something coming soon. And we'll finish off on my end with another episode or another segment of Cadlick's Combat. We'll go to our man Ryan Cadlick. He said this episode will come out post KC game, so hopefully we have a smile on our faces. Well, hopefully you have a smile on your face on Tuesday, because that's when it will be coming out. But we'll keep that smile rolling all the way to Thursday. He said, number 2, DH asked how old I was last week. I'm 36, but I'm still younger looking than Klaus. And he said, now let's get to it. Number 3, the battle. 1v8, 2v7, 3v6, and 4v5 for all the new listeners. ChatGPT made the settings. Nickelodeon characters once again since the double MCB, the best in the business, was so angry last week over the characters. I still can't get over the infatuation he has with you. There's always more characters, so no need to be angry. You're not. You, when you're hungry, eat a Snickers. So, at the number 1
Cadlick.
seed, we've got Timmy Turner from Fairly Odd Parents. Number 2, we've got Skeeter Valentine from Doug. Number 3, we've got Angelica from Rugrats. 4, we've got Jimmy Neutron from Jimmy Neutron. 5, Stimpy for Ren and Stimpy. 6, Dora the Explorer. 7, Squidward from SpongeBob. And 8, Heifer from Rocco's Modern Life. And
Oh
Gorski
my
came
God!
back
You
and
put
said-
Hef as the 8 seed? Oh, Cadlick.
Yeah, and well, even more of a thing is Gorski came back and said, clearly Jimmy Neutron. Cadlick responded, I've never really watched Jimmy Neutron, but according to GPT, he's pretty powerful. So Jimmy Neutron was more on the newer end, I guess, as far as like I was
Yeah.
transitioning out of cartoons. So
Yeah.
that I'm not as familiar, but I do know he was a smart kid, had a lot of gadgets and all that type of stuff. So the question then would be, is it straight hand to hand, or are we allowing,
Weapons.
gadgets?
Yeah, gadgets.
Yeah.
I think for the sake of this, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that.
Okay. So number 1, we've got Timmy Turner taking on Heifer. Now the big
That's
thing with
Hef.
this one is going to
Dude,
be
Hef is a massive cat. He's a massive steer, and he's a big dumb
but
idiot.
are the Fairly Odd Parents involved?
Well, I mean, if you want to make this like a
the
Survivor
Fairly
Series
Odd Man.
matchup, Hef's got Rocco. He's got Rocco's dog. Spunky is the dog's name, and he's also got their turtle friend that used to get really pissed. What was his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. Like
Yeah, I
Sheldon.
can't think of it.
I think it was Sheldon. I think that was his name.
Yeah, but you got the Fairly Odd Parents just granting any wish.
No,
that,
it's Hef. Hef's he's a raging steer, man.
man. Now we're in trouble.
You have to
again
pick
because
with
we're
me.
in a disagreement.
I
With only 2 of us.
asserted
Yeah.
dominance, and you have to pick with me now.
Well, here's where I'm going against myself, but here's where I'll give it to you. Last time when it was just the 2 of us, you gave me the choice that I had. So
Yeah, you have to assert dominance.
I'll return the favor and I'll give you Hef, even though I completely disagree. I want that on record. Next, we'll go with Mosquito Skeeter Valentine from Doug taking on Squidward. 2 goofy characters at all. Like, I mean, what a goofy matchup we have here. But I don't think Squidward's topping anybody on this one.
No, I think Skeeter distracts him with this weird, like, honking sound effects and then just uppercuts him into the pit.
Yeah, I agree. Next, we'll go Angelica from Rugrats taking on Dora the Explorer. I mean, this is a runaway for me. Angelica is just bullying the
She
hell
was
out of
mean.
Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, I think that has to be her. I think it has to be
I'll
Angelica.
go with you then.
Yeah, she was mean.
Now we got a power. This is the tough matchup. We've got Jimmy Neutron taking on Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy. I will go with Jimmy just because, it does sound like he has a lot of, smart,
Yeah, he's got gadgets. God,
knowledge.
Stimpy's just like,
gadgets and techniques.
but Stimpy's like, you could just, like, Ren just beat on him, like, mercilessly, and he never, like, gave up. You know?
Yeah, that's where you got to go. Like, does heart?
Yeah, he's
over,
got
you
he's
know,
got
like
a lot of
that type
heart,
of stuff.
but he's a moron too, man. This is the ultimate dumb. This is the ultimate dumb versus the ultimate genius.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. You're
It's so
right.
tough.
Ultimate dumb versus ultimate genius.
Does he
but
get to
I
use?
feel like,
Yeah, I think it's Jimmy Neutron.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I'll go. We'll
Sorry,
go Jimmy
Stimpy.
Neutron.
Although, does Stimpy get to use
Yeah.
log? Remember log?
I don't know if
Do you remember log?
no, I don't remember log.
Oh, okay, well, we have to go with Jimmy Neutron then. I don't have enough
I'll have
time
to go
to
back and-
demonstrate or
Yeah,
to
too long
explain
to go on that
log to
one.
you. It rolls
we've got-
downstairs. I can't remember. There was a song. It was like a fake commercial in Ren and Stimpy where it was like
Yeah.
a toy.
Okay. Yeah.
log.
Yeah. No, I remember.
Rolls
yeah,
over
I'm
your
remembering
neighbor's
that
dog.
now.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
log, log,
I'm
log.
remembering that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
God.
But we'll go with Heifer, the 8 seed, keeping that Cinderella run going, and they're going to be taking on Jimmy Neutron.
Oh God.
Or excuse me. Heifer is going to be taking on Skeeter.
Oh, it's his worst. It's like Sophie's
I
Choice.
know.
Oh, I think it's half. I think it's
Going
half.
half.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think with
half.
pure size, I think with pure size, we'll go
Yeah,
half. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then Angelica from Rugrats is going to be taking on Jimmy
Oh,
Neutron.
she gets smoked. Yeah, Jimmy Neutron all
She
day.
does. You going
Yeah,
Jimmy Neutron?
yeah.
So we'll go Jimmy Neutron taking on Heifer in the final
This is
matchup,
just,
and this
it's
is
like,
where.
it's like brute strength and stupidity versus like genius. And I don't think Hef is as tough as Stimpy. I don't think he can take a beating like Stimpy.
But here's the thing: is you got, since we don't have DH here to type in the fun. Honestly, that's a part I look forward to most with Catholic's
What the
Combat
actual
Corner is
chat
the
GPT?
GBT.
Let's
Yeah,
let's hold
but
off then. Yeah.
according to GBT, it says Jimmy Neutron's pretty powerful, which
Let's
inclines to me.
Yeah, let's cliffhang this one and wait till we can get David again and have him chat GPT it. And then we'll reveal the results. How about that?
I love the fact that our next episode is going to be covering a double, Derby game,
Yes.
Minnesota,
Yes.
all this great stuff, and we're going to kick it off with the final results, Chat GPT style,
It's
of
the important
Jimmy
stuff.
Neutron taking on Heifer. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
it's the
people care
important
about.
stuff.
So, and what else people care about is Reddit and our Discord. So we'll send it over to you for the final
Yeah.
submissions.
So Reddit and Discord again, Reddit and the No Go Patrol Discord. Once again, thanks to those guys for allowing us to be part of the Discord, and the St. Louis City SC page for allowing us to post our submissions on the Reddit page. So here was the prompt this week, and this was for both of these platforms. This is from me. Another well. Wow, my wording sucked. Another tough loss that could have been 3 points. Let's hear what everyone has to say and try to fight through these tough times together. Also, happy belated Mother's Day to all the city moms out there, because Mother's Day was Sunday. We're recording on Monday. Mother's Day was Sunday. Hope everybody had a nice day with their mom. And I had a couple prompts related to that. Your favorite sports related Mother's Day memory / tradition. And then, because we haven't hardly talked about food at all in this show, what's one homemade dish that mom makes that you can't live without? So that's how the prompt started for both of these. First to weigh in was They Call Me Sly Fox. Saturday's game was better, not good, but better than they have been, though the Seattle game was likely the worst we played in 2.36 seasons. The trouble is, it wasn't better enough. That English doesn't English. Barring any major changes of our next 15 matches, including Open Cup, there's a real chance we lose at least 12, if not more. We're in for a rough season. Minnesota is going to hit us like the hammer in Super Smash Bros. This week and next week. In honor of the Fighting Futons coming to town on Wednesday, what's your best assemble yourself furniture story? Or what's the worst type of furniture you have to assemble yourself? I've got this one immediately. My daughter, I think when she was 4 or 5, we bought her this really cool like mini like kitchen, like mini play kitchen. It took me 4 hours to put this effing thing together. It had more screws in it than an actual kitchen. I wanted to kill myself because of that damn thing. Four
Yeah,
hours, man. That's my
I
worst.
believe it.
I think anything that is anything that tends to be shipped to me in a foreign language is going to be a nightmare. So that's
Yep.
the worst type of furniture you have to assemble yourself.
Yeah, it's funny, like you say that, and all I'm thinking of like is everything that I've had to assemble for kids in the years that I've had to assemble stuff. It's like, yeah, the stuff with kids. There was one year we gave for Christmas, and I'm looking at it right now. It's this like Mercedes, like basically like a one of those like automated Jeeps that kids
Yeah.
can drive around on. Me and Kristen were up for like 3 hours throughout the night trying to put that together. Started up the second it started moving. She was scared of it, and it's been sitting down here ever since. And it's drove it. But the other thing too was like it was a dresser that she had, and the problem is now they just have those like connect screws. Like you got to have one side in, one, and
Yep.
then that connects, and then they don't hold very properly. So you have to constantly like every couple
Yeah.
like weeks retighten them. Those types of things. It was so those are the two things between there. Also, real quick at the beginning of that, I do want to say happy belated Mother's Day to all the amazing mothers that are out there. Especially shout out to Kristen, Katie, Sarah, Marie, Brenda, and then Dave. Let me know your mom's
Susan.
name. Susan, but all the amazing other South End supporters, moms, as well as just all the moms out there. You guys are absolutely amazing. But yeah, if you guys, speaking of moms though, if you keep buying that stupid furniture that we have to put up that it has those stupid directions, yeah,
That's good
I'll put
stuff.
it that way.
Away Evening 7447 took a day to reflect on not only City but all my soccer teams: Real Betis in Spain and VfB Stuttgart in Germany. Both my other teams have had some rough times in years past. Each time they brought in a new coach, Pellegrini or Hoynes, who fired up those squads and brought them to cup, championship games slash wins, and European first time games. I hope City can and will do the same. I think Olaf is a decent coach, but lacks the ability to bring out the fire our team like hacks seem to. I want to see the boys playing with fire in the same way this fan base has in their hearts for the team. On a different note, DraftKings has a save prop bet for Ben or Berkey, whoever starts, to get 3+ saves against KC at -115, -20, respectively. Could be a good look. I like that shot. We've never done the saves
That's a
bet.
good.
The only problem is well, City's been playing a lot more open and giving up a lot more shots. So I think that might be a good shout. Yeah, I like
Problem
that.
also is you're rooting for the other team to shoot
To
on
get
goal.
shoots, to get shots.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's a good point.
But
I'm just
that honestly though, three, I think
three plus.
that's a
Yeah,
pretty good.
I think that's
That's a
very
in a derby game.
attainable.
That's a pretty
Yeah,
good
and
game.
it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
essentially I mean, it's close to being even money. So yeah, I don't know. Last one
Not a
from
bad little throw in for like a parlay.
yeah, shots and God, shots in the
Shots, City
under.
win,
Shots in
and
the shots in the under maybe. I don't know. That's tough because you're kind of betting against each other there. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I've
yeah.
been staying away from betting on soccer because I just don't know what I'm talking about at all. Last one on Reddit from Flip Flop Kitten Hands, our old friend. I bet Olaf, Yarrow, Watts, and Hebert all preferred drums to flats. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Ship
Oh
them.
man,
If that's the case, ship them.
that
Ship them
no,
all.
that middle part of your name starting to stand out a little bit more there, kitten hands.
Oh man, don't! Wow, please don't insult the submitters. Man,
Yeah, I take it back, buddy. I take it back. But
I love team flats. Like it's just, I mean, you
I
can't
tell
see
you
it
what,
unless you're watching YouTube. But team flats has showed out so
you know what sucks?
fantastically.
I do want to I do want to say that like, and I'm calling out my drummies out there because team flats, as far as submissions, they come strong and
Yeah,
they come with rhymes. They come with all sorts of stuff thrown their way. And one subtle thing that I want to throw out is shout out No Go Patrol because one of my favorite things that I've received from the show is they gave me one of the yellow flags like you have up
it's
there
over
for
your left
flats. I have
shoulder
of drummies,
if you're
but
watching
then
on
they gave
YouTube.
me one. They gave me one that says one wing to rule them all, knowing that I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I will turn to see what little subtle dig that they threw in there. In the middle, they threw a flat in there, and I didn't even, I was so hyped on the fact that they gave me that it wasn't until like midway through that you were like, he put a flat in there. And I was just like, oh, he did.
On
So,
the
yeah,
No
flat.
Go Patrol Discord, you can
Yeah,
actually there's a flat emoji you can use to like
nice.
things. It's so good. So
Flats,
yes, Team
man. I'll
Flats
give you
does
that.
show
I'll give
up.
you that. You guys show up on so I'm calling on my, as Gorski said, drummy dummies to come forth.
The drummy dummies couldn't have been more appropriate. All
Yeah.
right. Moving over to Discord. The first thing that happened to this when I put the prompt out there is John Love said, "I'm going to change the prompt." He just went for it. He didn't want to hear what I had
Nice.
to say.
Love it.
Jay Clem said the L is on Olaf, not using the bench and or not making subs. The shape change when you make the subs is what cost, in my opinion. Putting Silva in a spot to fail, put other players, including Yarrow, in no-win situations. When the manager's constantly asking players not to play to their strengths, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Love. Okay, John Love's prompt. He just changed the prompt to his own thing.
I love it.
Barbecue match day. Are you getting Pappy's Beast or Farm Truck? And then add to that best barbecue in the city. Man, between Pappy's Beast or Farm Truck, I'm going Pappy's just because I have never ever had Farm Truck, and I've had Beast before, but I think I like Pappy's better. Matt Con 461 then said the best barbecue in the St. Louis area I have had is Heavy Smoke in St. Peter's. I heard really good things about that place, but I have not checked it out yet. So
Funny, you and
Pappy's
I are opposite. I've
Pap
had Beast and
and Farm Truck, but not
uh
Pappy's.
Farm Truck, and I haven't had Pappy's yet.
Okay, yeah. So
But I remember I said that's my year goal to have Pappy's because you
Pappy's.
guys both really
Somebody had
hype up
posted a
Pappy.
picture of the ribs in the Discord, and they looked really. Pappy's ribs are outstanding. I hope that they translate at the park. So,
Yeah,
our
there you
friend
go.
Amy Murr, the bracelet queen. Wednesday's
Yes.
performance is critical to the fan base, hoping for cheers, not boos. I'll try to crank out a few Believe bracelets to share on game day. She said, my
Ooh.
favorite sport, and listen, take my money, take my blank check for a Believe bracelet.
Oh yes.
I already rocked the bracelet that she gave us the first time that I met her. So yeah,
Yep.
put me
Same.
down for a Believe bracelet too.
Yep. Put
Her
me down for
favorite,
two.
her favorite sports related Mother's Day memory was Saturday painting the tifo, or maybe it was Sunday. It was probably Sunday, painting the tifo with her daughter. Love that. Great Mother's Day
That's
soccer
amazing.
related memory.
That's great. Love that.
New England clam chowder is a specialty her mom makes every Christmas Eve. It is perfection. I love some nice chowder. Never had like
Yeah.
actual chowder from New England, but I love a nice chowder.
Yeah.
Got
There
several
you go.
people interested in the Believe bracelets. That's great stuff. Let's see here. Kyle KVK said heavy smoke hands down. Fando Beth used to love when her kids had soccer tournaments on Mother's Day. The most requested dish at her house is bacon cheeseburger pasta. Sign me up for that.
Yes. Yes.
I'll take all that. I need to learn. I need to hear more about that, Fando Beth. It
Sounds
seems
better than that taco spaghetti you were talking about
you've
last
never
week.
tried
So.
it. Don't eat. You know what? You're gonna have problems. Katie's gonna come after you. Is what's gonna happen. Amy Murr
Oh no,
remembers
I
the.
didn't know that was her thing.
Yeah,
I'll take it back,
yeah,
Katie. I
yeah.
take it
You
back because I
should.
remember one
Yeah.
time I said the one thing about 13,
Don't
not
you feel
knowing that
bad
that
about
was her
yourself
number,
now?
and I've
Yeah.
regretted it since. So
Yes.
I apologize.
Amy Murr remembers the infamous Mother's Day tournament. Let's see. Johnny Love, Fat and Calf is Filipino barbecue, and you know we love Fat and Calf around here, and so does Jay Clem. That's one of his favorite spots. Let's see what else we've got here. KVK, let's see. His mom makes the best cheesecakes. Easter is maybe his favorite. She does a carrot cake cheesecake that is to die for. Some
Ooh.
favorites. Let's see. Were there any more favorite Mother's Day memories? We got the TIFO thing. Oh, all right. Last one from KVK. Judging location and quality of the enclosure, which animal at the St. Louis Zoo would you like to be? Would you most like to be based on the habitat? Judging location, which animal at the St. Louis Zoo would you like to be? Like to be? Okay, I can't read. Which animal
Oh,
at the zoo would
which
you
one
like
would
to
you
be
want to
based
be?
on the habitat? So based on the habitat, which one would you
Ooh,
like to be?
that's a good one. First
Yeah.
off, I want to say that I love the KVK. You throwing that out there because I'm picturing a backwards K, the V, and then a forwards
Oh,
K,
dude,
like as a
yes,
logo. Like I
yes.
just and the way he
Like
comes
Nine
up with
Inch
those
Nails.
towels and
Yeah,
everything like that, I just feel like that would flow so great. So
yeah. Okay, he's got
something
his
for
own
you to get
logo
on
now.
for a
He's got
little
his own brand.
personal logo there. I
Yeah,
think that
that's
would look
perfect,
sweet.
dude.
Once you said that, I picture that. That's a so I'm going through the zoo right now and thinking about habitats. I tell you, I wouldn't want to be in the reptile house or the bird house because
No,
I know summers they don't really kick on those
no.
ACs and that gets toasty in there.
Yeah,
I don't know that whole the riverfront area is
yeah,
pretty sweet
yeah.
looking to
River's
walk through
Edge.
where the elephants and all
Yeah,
River's Edge, yes, excuse me.
yeah,
That new monkey uh exhibit, and I know they're expanding that as well to where it's going to get even more inclusive with the kids. I think that's a cool spot. I
yeah.
love that
It's
the
you
zoo's
have the
doing
luxury
that.
of throwing your poo at kids if you don't like them. Yeah, that's good
I
stuff.
mean, that builds character out of kids. Is
Yeah, I like
catching,
the new polar bear exhibit's pretty
yes,
cool too. I
and
think they did that one right.
they got those new twin polar bears at the zoo as well.
Yeah, now
So
they
that's
just
a
gotta
I
not
think the
kill them.
I don't think they killed the
They
last one.
kill dude. They kill so many bears. It's ridiculous. It's a
Oh,
scandal.
really? I didn't. Oh
Yeah,
man, I didn't even know that.
so many bears.
Man, ah, ooh, I'm
I
between.
listen. I love the zoo. By the way, I know several people that work for the zoo, and it's just
Well,
unfortunate
no,
timing that some of the animals have passed away.
shout out to the zoo honestly because like still like being one of the nationally ranked zoos in the country and still being a free
Yeah.
entry
Yeah.
zoo is just absolutely amazing. It's one of our favorite places to take the kids.
Yeah.
Just so many things that they offer throughout the years. So shout out to the St. Louis Zoo. Man, I'm gonna go just for like pure aesthetic and visualization and everything. I'm gonna go River's Edge.
I like
That
it.
place just
That's a good call.
I look forward to myself walking through there every
Yeah.
time.
That's
And
a
I
good
know it's one
call.
of the newer areas, but I'll go with that. Yeah.
Fetlord Colton got two submissions in because not only because he submitted to multiple platforms, but this be the last submission of the evening. What Lord of the Rings character do the city players remind you of? Also, shout out Dave is for sure old Obi-Wan. Eric is definitely K2SO for me with all the tattoos and being athletic. I see Darth Maul. Okay, I
Oh,
like
for
that.
me being Darth Maul
He
with all the
gave you two
tattoos?
awesome characters, K2SO and Darth Maul.
Yeah. And I mean, is there one of the highest entrances you would see of Star Wars? And I'm not as big on Star Wars as I know you are and that type of stuff, but like the second he pulled out the second saber and the one
Oh yeah,
handle,
yeah,
I mean, that's got to be an all-time like visualization of Star
yeah.
Wars. But Lord of the Rings characters to city players, that's a fun one.
Well, Dave,
I f-
Dave's got to be Legolas, right?
oh, are we
Because
going
I thought we were
within the
talking.
show
Oh, you're talking
or
about the
within
players. Or you're talking about us.
if it I feel like Dave would be if we were going with. Are we going show or are we going players? What do we want to do?
Let's go show. It seems easier that way because there's only three of us.
Okay. Dave, David would be maybe like Frodo. I feel like a lot of attention he is on him. You know, like, and he's got a very important role. But you know, visual. He likes the. He's the first on the posters, and that's like he likes to be looked at that way.
Or Gandalf
And
the Grey.
he's got a very important role, but like there's a lot of like support for him, and
That's
especially
Gandalf
with
the.
him
That's Gandalf the Grey.
learning the Gandalf. The don't you dare
And he's
besmirch
even got the
Gandalf the
gray
Grey
top.
needing support. Okay, I'll give you that. He's a combination of Frodo and Gandalf the Grey. I love that. You, I'm gonna go. I'll go with like Gimli.
You son of a
You're
bitch.
aggressive.
You son of a
No, that's a great
bitch.
thing. That's a great thing. You're brave.
Nobody wants to be
You're
a dwarf.
aggressive.
At least give
No,
me.
but
At least give me like Thorin.
no, but that's even the thing is like you're brave. You're aggressive. You're 2 foot tackles. You're all the way in there. You're you're so even though you're so like gruff, you're so lovable. Like once you get to like know you and stuff, like everybody, you're just so and you're funny. I think I, I think and then your love of food. I just think
It's
it's
just
just
so you
you fit
attacked
right
me.
in
You've
there.
attacked me personally twice this episode.
That's a both are compliments. I'm trying to
Like I
come
said,
across as
you could have at
compliments.
least given me Thorin, but you gave me Gimli. No, I like Gimli.
Well,
That's fine.
I'm thinking Fellowship in there. And Thorin has a bad moment where he gets overtaken by the Arkenstone. So
Well,
I don't know if you
I
want to
get
do
angry
Thorin.
sometimes.
Plus, I don't even want to hear it because last episode I missed it when we were recording, but you just kept saying that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing with my characterization. So I don't know what Anakin bad thing about him
Oh,
was, but you just
Anakin?
kept saying
Oh, that's
you're
there's a
like
lot. There's a
you're
lot
like that's not
about
a good thing.
there's a lot about Clone Wars Anakin that you don't want to be, for sure.
Well, then why would you label me that? That's
I didn't, did
if
I?
anybody should be a feint. Yeah.
No, I think no,
You said
maybe
I'm
I
the
did.
you said I'm the tank, and then you said you got a lot of young Anakin in you too. And
Well,
then
I
I was
was
like,
talking
oh, that's
about
nice.
like
And you're like, you
Rip.
go,
I was talking
that's
about
not a good thing.
Revenge of the Sith Anakin, to where he's like just like this specimen, you know.
I'll take. I will appreciate
Yeah,
that.
but you gave me a dwarf. For you,
I
man.
gave you one of the most popular characters in the show,
For
the most
you,
lovable, and the most brave. That was honestly, I'd take Gimli. Gimli's great.
I'm struggling to
I'm probably
find.
like I'm probably like Pippin. Tries so hard, but always just seems to mess things up on something. Like
I'm
that's
gonna
probably
give
me.
you
Like,
the pale
touches
orc.
the arrow in Moria. You're gonna give me an orc? Is
The
that what
pale
you said?
orc.
Oh man, that's not good.
The pale orc. He was awesome.
He died.
Well, they all died. I mean, that was the
Gimli
thing about
lived.
that series is they all basically died except for not
Not the
Frodo.
two characters I gave you. Gimli and Frodo ended up in the Undying Lands. He
Yeah, that's
lived a
different.
great life.
That's different. That's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Man, I have to think on that one for you more because I don't want to insult you.
You've already done it from your Star Wars thing, so just so you know. Tell you what, next episode, we'll kick it off with the final results of Jimmy versus the Heifer, and then
And then
Eric's
your
Lord of the
your
Rings
Lord of the Rings
character.
character. I gotcha. I'll give you
So
Aragorn.
what a,
How about that? You could be Aragorn.
I mean, I'll take that all day.
All right, you
I'll
could
take
be
that all
Aragorn.
day.
You're a ranger.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that.
God,
There's nothing wrong.
longest episode ever.
Longest episode ever. So, real quick, I want to say thank you for anybody who has stuck with us for this longest episode
Hopefully
ever.
you listen to it
I
in
would
two
honestly
parts.
suggest if you hit Tuesday with an hour and then cut it and then go to Thursday, like normal schedule, and finish off the back half. But we appreciate you sticking with us. It really does mean a lot to us. It truly does. And everybody that commits or sends in all those submissions, it's so fun for us each week, as well as we are super grateful for all our sponsors of the show, kicking off with our title sponsors of Ready to Live Wellness. Make sure you go check them out at 1530 South Kings Highway Boulevard or online at R2L Wellness for all your health and wellness needs. And then when you got to get that swag, go check out Warrior Logo Wear. Make sure you go check them out at 12 East Main Street in Mascoutah, Illinois, to get you all that good swag going forward, as well as anything you're looking to customize. They will help you out with that. On the back end, we had our food portion with the STL Kolache. Can't go wrong with kolaches. Check them out at 1530 South Kirkwood Road in St. Louis, as well as the phenomenal Felix's Pizza Pub that bring you those South End submissions. Check them out at 6401 Clayton Avenue at Dogtown, as well as a City on Tap bar. So you go check out that game Wednesday if you can't get into City Park. And lastly, Elite FT, located at 101 The Game Drive in Glen Carbon, or eliteft.com if you're interested in getting your kids into the game or just growing their talents with the game. There's no better place to go than Elite FT. As well as, please keep following us and sending in your submissions on all our socials. On Instagram, we're South End Supporters. Our Twitter and our Reddit is capital SES_podcast STL. Make sure you're following us on our Facebook page, as well as checking out our YouTube to like and subscribe to keep up with all things South End Supporters. So, for myself, Eric Cole, for the Monday Morning Sitterback, Dave Wyckoff, and for our buddy DH David Heck, who's out tonight, you've been listening to South End Supporters. We'll see you next week, and until then, let's go City.